I'll give you good dog. If you want to do it for yourself, then darling, you probably should go. There's no way I'm standing in the rain. I can still make you say my name, say my name, say my name. Like about me, my God, you're insane.
We are not far from blast off here at the Incora County Ground, and as we prepare to welcome the players out onto the playing area, we want to remind all spectators that we stand against all forms of discrimination and there is no place for it in our sport. We will embrace and celebrate differences everywhere, knowing that with diversity we are stronger. We are dedicated to raising the game. If you witness it, challenge it, call it out. Here at Derbyshire, report by emailing edi@derbyshirecc.com or speak to your nearest steward. This is now our countdown to blast off. Just a couple of minutes away now, everybody, at the Incora County Ground. Time for you to do your bit, and when you see those Falcons, you've got to make some noise.
Very good evening and welcome to the Incora County Ground for this T20 Blast encounter between Derbyshire and Leicestershire. A tough sell for the marketing people, but the crowd's not too bad. It's not as bad as I feared it was going to be about half an hour ago, certainly, so that's good news. And the news from the middle is that Derbyshire won the toss and they are having a bowl first. Unchanged side as well from the team that was beaten by Northamptonshire a couple of nights ago in what was the most dispiriting of the defeats so far in the competition. 11 balls to spare when Northamptonshire got across the line. So Lewis Rees and Shan Masood will eventually, not straight away of course, open the batting. Wayne Madsen, Lees to Floyd, Brooke Guest, Alex Hughes, Matty McKinnon, not necessarily in this order of course, because Hayden Kerr came in at number 3 on Tuesday. Sam Connors, Mark Watt and George Scrimshaw alongside me is Lauren Tuffrey, Derbyshire women's captain. Lauren, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Dave. It's
Excellent.
Nice to be back.
Well, good to have you back. Yeah, it's been a few matches.
Yeah, I've been busy with work stuff for the past couple of weeks.
So have I. Been rushed off my feet. But plenty has happened in the time that you haven't been with us, including a number of defeats, which is slightly disappointing. The win at Yorkshire in an 8-over-a-side game was very good. The defeat at Lancashire was disappointing, if not predictable. The defeat at Notts, and I know you were in the ground because you were at the back when I saw you doing the throwing business out there.
Yeah, we had a very busy night of the Notts game.
It was packed, wasn't it? It was a really good crowd. That defeat was very much expected, I think. It was the one on Tuesday night that really hurt, which means that they've got to win this one tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think they need to get back to their sort of winning ways as well. So we had a good start. It was nice to see what type of cricket they were playing and just sort of bring that back, I think. This is the perfect opportunity for it.
Absolutely. The two sides who would both expect to be possibly in the bottom half of the qualification group. And Hamish Rutherford, it's the first time Hamish Rutherford has been back to play at the county ground since he played for Derbyshire. He did come with Glamorgan last season, but of course the 50-over game was completely washed out. So he was here, but no toss, and therefore no match. But he's here tonight. He's had a shocking time in the Blast so far this season, bless him, with Leicestershire. The man at the other end is Scott Steele, who's had a much better time since getting into the side. Useful bowler as well, Steele, so he'll have a big part to play. And it's Hayden Kerr who is going to bowl the first over from the racecourse end. Bowls to Rutherford, who almost chops on, and that would have pretty much summed up his season so far. I think Hamish Rutherford, he's had a terrible time. He didn't look very happy when he was given out at Leicester, did he? I remember.
No, he didn't, and you'd think that being back somewhere familiar might help him, but you never know. You never know with these things.
No, indeed. He's settling down now. Kerr's already on his way in, so Rutherford better be ready. He looks like he's ready. He's in, arm bowls too, and this one is a thick inside edge out into the leg side. Around goes Lewis Rees to do the fielding, and Leicestershire, the Foxes, the unleashed Foxes apparently, hashtag, are off the mark with that single. Hamish Rutherford's name doesn't quite fit on the big scoreboard across to the right hand side, which I always think is slightly disappointing. He's Hamish Rutherford on the big scoreboard, which is still in operation despite the fact that the new scoreboard is also in operation. Chilly-ish evening now. The sun from earlier has disappeared and it's very cloudy here, but the rain that we had around about 4 o'clock is long gone, I'm delighted to say. And Scott Steele to face his first delivery. There's a slip in place and he turns this one from Kerr into the leg side. In off the boundary comes Matty McKinnon to do the fielding. And Leicestershire are now 2 without loss. He made the perfect start on Tuesday night, Hayden Kerr, by dismissing Chris Lynn first ball. And at that point, I was convinced Derbyshire were going to win the game.
That's the type of wicket you want to take early doors as well.
Unfortunately, Josh Cobb got them. And he scored 60 off 30, something along those lines, in the same way that...
That's what you need, though. Yeah. You want someone, if someone can't do it, somebody else to chip in.
And they've been done by a couple of big guns so far as Kerr bowls. Now, again, it's off an inside edge, out into the leg side. They've scampered through for another single, because he's right on the edge of the circle is Lewis Rees. And they move on to 3 without loss. I am listening to the 7 o'clock news in my. I'm just also watching this big board behind me, which has already fallen over once and knocked my chair over when I wasn't sitting in it. It was on its way down then, wasn't it?
It's obviously a little gust of wind there.
It shouldn't be in a place where it could fall over and land on my head. So yes, we'll have an update for BBC Radio Derby FM listeners fairly shortly as Kerr goes in again, balls. That one is clipped away down the leg side for 4 runs, and Steele gets his first boundary.
Yeah, I think Kerr's just missing his mark slightly here. He's bowling all right to Rutherford, but then when the right-hander swaps over, he's just bowling a bit too leg side at the moment.
He bowled pretty well at Leicestershire. He got 2 for 6 in the end. That was by far his best performance of the season so far. The night before against Birmingham, he'd been slapped all over the ground here at Derby. It was about 48 hours after he got off a plane from India, of course, as Kerr bowls now, and Steele pushes this into the leg side. It's fielded by Wayne Madsen, and there is no run. It's the end of the first over. 7 runs from it. 7 without loss. Decent crowd.
Yeah, I was thinking, because it's a Thursday night, still got school tomorrow, but it's in Derby High are in.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I've seen them. They were cheering along, trying to get Shah Massoud to give him a little wave earlier while they were warming up.
Did he?
I'm not sure, I missed that. I hope he did.
So do I. Wayne Madsen. Interesting. Here comes the update. Hello, Palm. Yes, we've had 1 over here. Derbyshire won the toss, decided to have a bowl first. Hayden Kerr, the young Australian all-rounder, bowled it. 7 without loss. The visitors, Hamish Rutherford, has a couple of those, former Derbyshire man, and Scott Steele has 5 with the only boundary so far. Derbyshire desperately need to win this game, having lost their last 3. If they're to harbour any hopes of qualifying for the knockout stages. Victory tonight is essential. 7 without loss, the Foxes, after 1 over, and full commentary continues on the BBC Sport website and app. Seamless.
Look at that. It's like we've done it before.
So the first delivery of Madsen's over went for a single, and he bowls to Steele who goes back into his crease and pushes it out into the leg side. It's fielded by Mark Watt, who did bowl over number 2 down at Wantage Road the other night. It's Madsen who's got the nod from Shah Massoud, the Derbyshire T20 skipper. 9 without loss. This next one is turned into the leg side by Rutherford out towards Matty McKinnon. We'll see him bowling his leg spin a little bit later on, and another single is taken. 10 without loss. No real alarms for Leicestershire yet. No,
they're sort of starting off nice and steady, just getting the runs ticking over. It's just the start you want, really.
Been bowled out for 89 by Derbyshire at Grace Road earlier in the season. This next delivery is turned into the leg side by Steele. Sam Connors comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. Surprises Wayne Madsen with the throw as it bounces a couple of yards in front of him. Connors took a couple of terrific catches at Wantage Road, coming in off the boundary, sliding on his knees. I always think that's quite tricky.
It's always a difficult, taking one on the move. They are the most difficult catches.
There was a drop that was quite significant as well. This one is beaten back towards Madsen by Rutherford, and there's no run. Poor old Hayden Kerr had his foot on the boundary rope when he took a catch. Josh Cobb in the 30s. That might have made quite a difference, but he couldn't keep himself inside the field of play. That one's down the leg side and will be signalled wide. There's a half appeal from Brooke Guest. You'll appreciate this as somebody who's kept as well. He tried for a couple of run-outs, did Brooke Guest. On one occasion he took 2 stumps out, and on the second occasion he destroyed all of them. It was magnificent. Swept aerially, 6. No, yes.
I think that's gone for 6.
It's gone for 6. Yeah. Out towards the marquee. By the time I'd stood up, I'd lost the ball, but it had gone for 6, and the final ball of the over is a difficult one for Wayne Madsen to take. 11 off the over, a poor over really from Wayne Madsen. 18 without loss after 2 Leicestershire.
Yeah, I think they've been taking the singles when they're there, but both overs so far they've found the boundary at least once as well. So it's keeping that run rate up for him and setting him off in a good stead, I think.
And are you somebody who likes to restrict the opposition when you've won the toss, or would you prefer to chase rather than set?
We always like to set a total.
Oh, okay.
Then we know what we're bowling at. That's what I always like to do anyway. I don't always get the support of my other team. They're like, oh, who wants to field first today? But no, we've had good stats. Batted first, so.
Derbyshire decided they'd bowl first in this one. Mark Watts into the attack, and that's turned into the leg side by Scott Steele, and fielded there backward of a square on the leg side by Matty McKinnon, who's been a busy man so far. The two men outside the circle are at long on, which is Wayne Madsen, and at mid-wicket, that's Leicester Ploy. As Watt is in again and bowls, that's played off the back foot nicely out into the offside. It's going to go all the way to the boundary, I fancy. Sam Connors is chasing, but he's given up because the ball is racing away. Once it had got past Lewis Rees at extra cover, it was always going to get to the boundary. Really quick outfield.
I think you just got to make use of the quick outfield, and they're only having the 2 out in the power play as well. I think that's what a lot of teams are doing a lot better now than they used to. They are going big early doors.
I've got stats on power plays to give everybody later on. This one is turned into the leg side by Steele. Just tapped to the edge of the 30-yard circle. He fancied a second, Rutherford didn't. Rutherford is still only 33. He's been playing cricket for a long time. Steele moves on to 10, to 12 rather. Rutherford has 10. And we're in the third over, halfway through the third over. Mark Watt's going to come around the wicket now to the left-handed New Zealander Hamish Rutherford. He was here in my first season covering Derbyshire along with Neil Broom, fellow Kiwi. Well, he was here on a British passport, I believe. In comes Watt. It's over the wicket rather. That one drifted as it approached Rutherford. He's clipped it away. Madsen's giving chase, and Madsen puts in the dive, and the ball gets all the way to the boundary, and that's another 4. And this is turning into a very good start for Leicestershire here. They've moved on to 22 without loss in the third over. Might be more, probably is more. My computer has 27, I beg your pardon, 27 without loss in the third over.
This is definitely a better start than they had over at Grace Road.
Oh yes, well they were shocking at Grace Road, weren't they? They didn't look like they'd ever win a game. That one beats the outside edge of Rutherford's bat as he goes for an expansive drive. Of course, the following day they went to Yorkshire, went to Headingley and won. Made no sense at all.
Just got to get your bad games out at the start.
Yeah.
That's what they've done.
Yeah, they lost quite heavily to Lancashire, I think it was, on Tuesday. This one's lifted into the leg side by Rutherford. Around comes Connors. The batsmen get back for 2 more. Sound like too many Leicestershire supporters in this evening, I think it's fair to say. 29 without loss at the end of the over, and 11 runs off that one as well. So a couple of big overs for Leicestershire, 2 11-run overs have taken them to 29 without loss halfway through the power play. Derbyshire's best power play this season was in the opening game. They did lose 3 wickets, but they reached 62, 60 without loss against Notts, and they lost both of those games. Against Leicestershire, they only reached 52 for 2, and they won that one. Yorkshire was 19 for 1, but it was 2 overs and 3 balls. George Scrimshaw, incidentally, is coming on now. And on Tuesday night, it was 40 for 2, and well, they just were never going anywhere.
They always, from that, sounds like they always lose a couple of wickets at a time.
Yes, and you can't really afford to lose too many, can you? Scrimshaw bowls wide of the off stump, short, as you might expect from Big George, but it was wide of the off stump, and Steele had a go at that one. He might have been better off leaving it alone. He might have got himself an extra delivery and an extra run, but. Good news for Derbyshire.
Tried to make something out of that one. I think Scrimshaw got away with it, I think.
Yes, he did. That's me smashing my hand into the microphone, and I apologise. BBC Radio Derby online via the BBC Sport website and app as Scrimshaw bowls and beats Steele gets that extra bounce, as you would expect from somebody who's 6 foot plenty.
Yeah, it's we always sort of find it as well. We've got one girl as well who's 15. She's really not quite quick yet, but she still gets ridiculous amount of bounce. I think she actually broke someone's rib at Winter Nets this year.
Really?
That was not what we wanted to do.
No, you'll be breaking your own teammates' ribs. His Scrimshaw, not looking to break anybody's ribs, but bowls to Steele, who just pushes it out into the offside. There's a Well, I thought there was going to be a shot at the stumps from Alex Hughes, but in the end he held on because he realised the batsman had gone through for a single. Still moves to 13-30 without loss.
It was a brave dive on the wicket there as well.
Yes.
It always hurts on a wicket.
It's very hard, isn't it?
It's not what you want.
No. One other game in the North Group involving Northamptonshire and Worcestershire. Started half an hour earlier than we did, and Northamptonshire 117 for 1 in the 11th over, having decided to bat first. Derbyshire at New Road tomorrow, 5:30 start for those of you who are setting your watches. Scrimshaw is in again. That just takes the edge of the bat, does it? I think it might have taken the thigh pad, actually.
Yeah, it looked like a movement of T-shirt there as well.
Yeah,
so.
That's why it wasn't signalled wide, because it touched Rutherford on the way through. Brooke Guest got up and was very excited. George Scrimshaw was a little bit excited, but less so. Nobody else was particularly excited, and the umpire certainly wasn't. So all in all, as you were.
You've got to ask the question now again and again.
Well, you do.
You've got to.
Billy Taylor, and I think it's Rob White, isn't it, the other umpire? R.A. White. I'm sure
I
think that's Rob. In comes Scrimshaw and bowls. That's pushed out into the offside by Rutherford. There's going to be a shy at the stumps here from Sam Connors, and it doesn't miss by much. Steele breathes a sigh of relief, because standing not far from the wickets is Wayne Madsen with his hands on his head. That was a well-judged run in the end, but it might not have been.
No, it looked close from here. I think it's positive running from the Foxes as well, though, so they're really trying to push those singles. But a good throw from Connors there. A little bit more on target, and it's been interesting.
I think he's a terrific outfielder, Sam Connors. I know quick bowlers have to be these days, don't they? But he is a very fine example of a fast bowler who is a fine fielder, as Scrimshaw is in and bowls to Steele. Now that one's going to go an awful long way. Might even go all the way for 6 out to backward point. Does. Hits the brickwork of the groundsman's shed, and once again the last ball of the over goes for 6, and Scrimshaw, who had conceded just 2 runs from his first 5 balls, ends up conceding 8 at the end of the over. It's 37 without loss. Leicestershire 8 off the over, as I say, in 2 overs of power play to go. That's just a case of the ball being banged in and the batsman using the pace of the ball, really.
Yeah, I think you can't really, you can get away with it as a batter. As a bowler, you're a bit stuck, aren't you? But I think Derbyshire seem to be starting off their overs all right, but not finishing them off in the same way that they start them at the moment, and they're just sort of letting it go in the last couple of balls, or in Scrimshaw's case, that last ball there. But with the pace he's got, you just get your bat on it and it's flying away.
Good evening to Ed Dawes, who's watching at home. I assume he's at home. Here's Hayden Kerr in and bowls to Rutherford, who gives him the charge and plays a fairly horrible shot in the end for a signal out to Lewis Rees on the edge of the 30-yard circle at mid-on. Rutherford moves on to 18-38 without loss. Blue sky in the distance, very nice. The lights are on here at the Incora County Ground, of course. And whilst not full, there's a fair crowd in for a Thursday night, as we were saying, between two sides who aren't in the greatest of form at the moment, but huge game for both of these sides nonetheless. As Kerr is in over the wicket and bowls to Steele, who hoiks it into the legs.
It's not a very good looking shot.
That was a worse shot than the one that Rutherford played. Fielded by Wayne Madsen.
Definitely
you
a hoik across the line, that is.
You've got to do it every now and then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you've got to do it every now and then.
I played a lovely one at the weekend, right across the line.
Yeah, get runs for it?
I think I managed to get a 1, and the other team were like, how has she hit that one?
It's quite a long way outside off stump. Kerr started the over nicely, as most of the bowlers have. He's in now and bowls to Steele. That's on leg stump though, and it's pulled away down to fine leg, a square fine leg in front of the East Midlands demolition stand for 4 runs.
Yeah, it's that ball again. Kerr's struggling a little bit with his line to the right-hander today, and he's being punished for it every time.
Every single time. There's somebody watching in Nottingham as well. I don't know if he's listening though, so he might not know that we've mentioned him. 42 without loss In goes Kerr, bowls, and that one is, he waits for a slower delivery and cuts it away, does Scott Steele. He'll come back for a second as well, despite the fact that Connors is quickly to the ball. Good throw as well from Connors. It's a long, long way out there on the boundary. He's fielding in front of the dugouts. He must be 75 yards away, and he's a good 10, 12 yards inside the boundary as well. 44 without loss.
Yeah, it's a long way out there. We've done some fielding on the outfield before, and trying to get it the distance is a bit of a challenge.
I threw the ball back. I'll tell you about it in a minute. It was a bit embarrassing. 44 without loss. Kerr bowls. Now then, this has come straight back towards us. It's in the air though. It's circling underneath it. It's Lewis Rees who takes the catch, and that is a very good catch as well. And it's the end of Scott Steele and Derbyshire. Well, they needed a wicket really. The ball went straight up in the air effectively, only to the edge of the 30-yard circle. Hayden Kerr has his first wicket. Steele goes for 25 and the Foxes are 44 for 1.
Yeah, it's a good catch from Rees. It's gone up quite a long way. He's had to sort of circle around himself, get his little fancy footwork out to make sure he's in the right spot. And he's got under it nicely and safe as house as that was.
Never looked like dropping it, did he? Never. I didn't want to say that before he caught it, though. 3 fours and a 6 for Scott Steele. And the first wicket goes down in the power play. In the 5th over, Hayden Kerr has figures of 1 for 14 now with 1 ball of his 2nd over to go. So earlier on today, I was here quite early, as I often am. People will know. And Darren Smith was out in the middle with who I assume is the 2nd team wicketkeeper. I didn't recognise him, young man. And he was firing the balls against those orange blocks with his bat through some stumps.
The catch-it balls,
The keeper was moving from left to right. And occasionally he'd miss one or he'd be miss-hit and the ball came down near us and it was down on the boundary. So I was rolling them back. And they appeared to finish and I thought, well, I'll throw this one back. Well, I nearly took the poor wicketkeeper's head off. My throw has gone.
Did you use your front arm?
No, I think there were more problems than not using my front arm. It's a general weakness, really. As Kerr bowls to the new batsman, who's Aaron Lilly, and he guides this one down to a shortish 3rd man for a single. It's the end of the over, a good over as well. 45 for 1, so 8 runs from it, but a wicket in it for Hayden Kerr, and that's exactly what Derbyshire wanted. If they can pick up another one now in the final over of the power play, they will be more than happy.
Yeah, I think if you can take at least 2 in the power play, then you sort of set yourself up well. You've got some new batters in, and you can push the field out then, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to break through and score a little bit freely. So
Hayden Kerr got 2 for 6 at Grace Road as Sam Connors comes on to bowl the final over of the power play from the City end. Hayden Kerr 2 for 6 at Grace Road. He'll be feeling a lot better about life now that he's got 1 for 15 from his 2 overs so far. He'll bowl again a little bit later on. We didn't see Alex Hughes until quite late at Northampton, but I expect we'll see him at some point, perhaps earlier this evening. Shan Masood explaining that wasn't really a match where they could just bring a bowler on to block and end up. Here is Connors, bowls outside the off stump, cut away and nicely fielded on. Parried initially by Wayne Madsen, but he's got terrific reflexes for a man of 38.
Age is just a number.
Well, I'm not sure that it is, Lauren, if I'm entirely honest with you. The number of aches and pains I normally wake up in the morning with, but Madsen is a phenomenal athlete.
I think players are now. I mean, you look at somebody like Jimmy Anderson still doing what he's doing.
Yes, indeed, another pair of similar vintage. That one is pushed out into the offside. Madsen will leave it this time, preserving his hamstrings. Matty McKinnon picks up and Lilly gets his 2nd run, moves on to 246 for 1.
It's the sun shining.
It's beautiful now, isn't it? The shadows are very, very long as the sun sets away to our right in the west, which is generally where it sets. But yeah, sun is out. That's good news. This is the exact reason why they had to turn the square by 90 degrees, because the sun as it is at the moment will be straight into a batsman's eyes and play would have to be stopped for good light, which was a little embarrassing back in the day. A little skip in his run-up, Sam Connors, as he's in. That's down the leg side and will be signalled wide. They've been quite disciplined on that, and it's important, isn't it, to be disciplined on wides and no balls. There haven't been too many no balls either this season, but there haven't been many wides, and that's always a good sign that the bowlers are quite disciplined.
Yeah, and I think it makes a difference as well to a game. Like if you can keep the extras as low as possible, it means the batters have all got to do more.
Corner's in again. A little dance down the track from Hamish Rutherford. He misses the ball as it goes over the top of the stumps. A little fuller. Well, Rutherford might have hit it. They've been a little fuller, but a little fuller. It might have hit the stumps, but that's a good delivery from Connors, who's conceded just a couple of runs, including that wide from his first 3 deliveries.
Yeah, it was good from Connors there, sort of following the batter down, just dropping it a little bit short and seeing them coming forward.
He's in again. This time Rutherford stays where he is and flicks it away for 4 runs down to fine leg. It goes past Hayden Kerr, who's at short fine leg on the edge of the 30-yard circle. Got absolutely no chance there unless it goes straight to you. And as a result, boundary is scored, and Leicestershire move on to 51 for 1, so 50 up for Leicestershire in the final over of the power play. I think it was Kerr, it might have been Lewis Rees. Almost took a catch, it was Kerr, I think.
It was Kerr,
wasn't it, at Yorkshire? The ball was pulled around the corner and it wasn't too far away, and that one is a good delivery, good response from Sam Connors as the ball dribbles out into the offside. Rutherford trying to whip it away into the leg side. The PA man is wasting his time. There we go.
He's not getting a lot of response
He's
there,
getting nothing back, and that's exactly what he deserves. He'll play that trumpet in a minute.
Give it a second innings, I think.
That needs to be removed from... And that whack, when somebody does something wrong, I don't like that either. Here is Connors bowling. That's flicked away again, down into the leg side. Down there is McKinnon, who does really well, gets his body in the way of the ball to prevent it from going over the boundary rope. And they come back for a second, but it could have been a lot worse. End of the over, 53 for 1. Hi-ho, silver lining. 8 overs, 8 runs off that over as well. So the last 3 overs of the power play went for 24. 53 for 1 at the end of the power play. And when they were beaten at Grace Road, they got to 47 for 4 Leicestershire, so they're certainly better off. But that power play only twice, including Tuesday at Northampton's at Derbyshire, been worse. They were 52 for 2 at the end of the power play at Grace Road a couple of Saturdays ago. We're going to see Matty McKinnon after that nice piece of fielding, just down to our right-hand side, come on to bowl his leg spin for the first time. Now then, this is going to be interesting, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and when Derbyshire got to finals day, once they got to the end of the power play, once we got to the end of the power play, they had Matt Critchley from one end, and first delivery from McKinnon. That one's cut away, and there is a run there because it's not fielded cleanly by Hayden Kerr on the edge of the 30-yard circle. That's slightly disappointing. And they get 2. Lilly trots back for a second. He moves on to 6, 50. No, he moves on to 4, 55 for 1. They had Critchley bowling leg spin at one end and Alex Hughes bowling his pace off at the other. It'd be interesting to see if Hughes bowls the next over. I wonder if he will. This one is guided into the offside, where it's fielded by Mark Watt. Yeah,
it's all about bowling partnerships in cricket, and if you've got 2 people that sort of complement each other quite well, then it can be a real handful for a batting team.
Well, those 2 picked up a lot of wickets. Alex Hughes has moved back to being equal record wicket taker. Oh, that's a thick inside edge off Lilly's bat down towards fine leg where Scrimshaw does the fielding. He had absolutely no idea where that ball had gone.
I think this is where the leg spin is so important in a game, or just spin in general. It just changes it up and can make batters think a little bit more.
Lilly advances and smashes the ball down the ground for 6 to the on side of the stumps at this near end. Used his feet well there, Aaron Lilly, and he moves into double figures. He's on to 10. And Leicestershire move up to 61 for 1. I was asked by the boys from Radio Leicester when I did a little turn for them earlier, what the pitch was like, and I'm notoriously poor at trying to work out what a pitch is like. But this pitch is the same pitch that they've used for the first 2 matches this season. The first game, it was 200, played 197. And in the second game, Alex Hale scored 91 off 33 balls. So I think it's a fairly useful pitch.
I think when you score, so you can see so many runs being scored on the pitch, and it's still sort of holding up. You know, the ground staff have done an excellent job.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely got a mark on it. It's remarkable. In goes McKiernan again, and this one is cut away by Aaron Lilly. That might go all the way for 4 as well. Aidan Kerr's giving chase, and the ball wins the race to the boundary, and that's 4 more. And McKiernan's looking a little bit sorry for himself here as Lilly moves on to 14, and Leicestershire to 65 for 1.
Yeah, he always looked like he was losing the chase there, Kerr, didn't he? It's just a very quick outfield, and can't get away with anything if you miss it in the field here.
Yeah, that one raced to the boundary in front of the members' pavilion, far end of the ground, just to our left. Here's McKiernan again, in and bowls. That one is guided very nicely up towards Wayne Madsen at long off for a single. So Lilly will pinch the strike. 66 for 1 after 7 overs, 13 off that one. A 6 will always damage your figures, of course. And that's exactly what happened to Matty McKiernan in that particular over. The current run rate is 9.5, and that's a bit higher than Derbyshire would like at this stage. I suggested that 180 would be a par score on here, and at the moment Leicestershire very much on course to get something in that region.
Yeah, they're building their innings really well here. They're just ticking along like they were, but they're still finding the boundary. Even though we're out of the power play, they're still finding a way to keep those boundaries coming every over, and if you can get 1 or 2 every over, it just changes the game altogether.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to see Alex Hughes bowling in tandem with Matty McKiernan, because we're seeing George Scrimshaw running towards us again with a white. Oh dear, that's been edged down to third man, a very fine third man for 4 by Aaron Lilly, and that's happened to George Scrimshaw on a number of occasions this season, but with no slips in place, the batsman can swing the bat with impunity, really, knowing that he's not going to get caught.
Yeah, and if you swing hard enough at a pace bowler, it will just, no matter what it hits, it'll just fly off. And a new saying that's come about in our team at the moment is you pay for the whole of the bat, so why not use it?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't want any marks in the middle of it. Just on the edges. Lilly waits, and Scrimshaw bowls to him and guides it down to Liz Deploy, who's fielding backward point. He's about 5 or 6 yards, perhaps a little bit more inside the 30-yard circle as well. Scrimshaw with the protection on his right elbow. Well, that's just to keep his elbow warm, or whether he's taken a tumble in the field and he's got some kind of graze that he's trying to protect.
Yeah, some bowlers wear them for weird reasons, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's his left arm, so it wouldn't be for keep his arm warm, would it? Now then, this one's been uppercut. 4-6 down to the marquee away to our right-hand side by Aaron Lilly.
No attempts at a catch, which is upsetting.
It's quite well populated in there as well, isn't it? I'm surprised it didn't send them scattering in all directions, but Lilly has now overtaken Rutherford. He's got 25 from 12. Rutherford's got 24 from 17, and Leicestershire are 76 for 1. And this is, I would imagine, the alarm bells will just be starting to ring for Shan Masood, the Derbyshire skipper. Scrimshaw's kicking at the ground. He's an unhappy man. He's just kicked at the ground so much. I think he moved the white disc.
Seems to be a bit of conversation over the field.
Yeah. And Liz Deploy, the vice captain, was in a long distance conversation there with Shan Masood at mid-off. Scrimshaw is in, and this is a fuller delivery, and it's pushed up towards mid-off. Alex Hughes steps in and picks the ball up, and there's no run taken. So the run rate's almost 10 now, and that's sort of the magic number. If you can get 200, well, Derbyshire, from memory, and I will look it up at half-time if they have to chase 200, 8 times in their history have they scored 200, and they didn't win all those games. Not a big scoring side traditionally in the T20 competition, Derbyshire. As this next delivery from Scrimshaw has Lilly backing away into the leg side. There's a shy at the stumps from Lewis Rees at mid-on, but the batsman gets through and the shy at the stumps misses anyway. Lilly moves to 26, 77 for 1. It doesn't matter if you don't score heavily as long as your bowlers can restrict the opposition, but at the moment that isn't happening.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we always go for. That's why we like to bat first, because we know if we bat well we can put on a sort of a big total, but we know that if we don't always bat to our potential we can defend it because we've got the bowling to do that.
Derbyshire had that opportunity. They won the toss, but Shammasu decided Derbyshire would field first. So Scrimshaw bowls, and that one is played into the leg side off a pad by Hamish Rutherford. So one more to the total as the signal comes from the umpire. End of the over, 78 for 112 off that over from George Scrimshaw. The scatter blast, everybody. I can't see where the scatter blasters
in the
are.
family stand?
Oh, is it?
It's normally over in the corner, over by.
Yeah, no, I can. Yes,
By
I can
the
see.
speed cage.
And they're not using any form of gun. They're just basically
just
chucking t-shirts into the crowd now. So, what a team!
We were debating if we could blend in with the kids the other week, see if we could
t-shirt.
steal one. Yeah.
We could just.
We didn't test it though, but just
the
push them out the way.
The old handoff, yeah. Get the kids out of the way and take one for yourself. Don't see anything wrong with that. Mark Watt, who bowled 6 deliveries from 22 yards in his first over. I'd be surprised if we saw another 6 from 22 yards. He does like the 24-yarder, potentially the 25-yarder as he bowled at Grace Road. And again, a conversation between Shan Masood and Leas Deploy, the captain and vice-captain. The scatter blast has got the kids flocking away to Ireland. That's good to see.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We've had a few questions on the pathway recently as well about the way that Watt bowls a little bit further back.
Watt begins a new over, and that one is pushed out into the offside. I've missed my first update of the evening, which is a terrific effort, and apologise profusely for that. I am now listening. 79 for 1. Rutherford moves on to 25. Watt in and bowls to Aaron Lilly, who turns this one into the leg side. It's fielded out there by Leas Deploy. I should be updating after Elton John. Elton John and somebody else, I know.
Not Lady Gaga.
Dua Lipa.
Oh yes, Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Not Lady Gaga.
No. This one is cut away into the offside again by Rutherford for a single out towards Leas Deploy. They've got to keep that ball low when they fire it in from the right-hand side of the ground because the sun is very low in the sky. Watt around the wicket. That one is carved away into the offside for 4 runs by Aaron Lilly out towards the extra cover boundary. It was too wide. Too wide, I'm afraid, from Mark Watt. And this hasn't been a good bowling performance so far from Derbyshire. As Leicestershire move on to 85 for 1 with 2 balls of the 9th over remaining. The mix of Elton John and whatever music they were playing inside the ground was slightly alarming about. So there's a 24-yarder from Mark Watt. It's driven out into the offside by Aaron Lilly and straight to Shan Masood. Can't catch us out, Mark.
We've worked it out.
He's in again now. This is a 22-yarder and it's guided just out into the offside by Lilly, who sends Rutherford back. There's a shot at the stumps from Brooke Guest that misses. But 2 dot balls to end the over. 85 for 1, and that was a 7-run over, so it's the best over since Hayden Kerr's opener. And at the end of it, Leicestershire are 85 for 1. We're going to see Alex Hughes. We are. We're going to see Alex Hughes. I think that's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, that's yours.
That's Alex Hughes. Didn't bowl until about over number 15 from memory. Should get a big cheer. Nothing. He didn't bowl until over number 16, in fact, at Northamptonshire by what time the game was almost up.
Yeah, it's nice to see him back in.
Absolutely.
Back in the side again.
Yeah. Still haven't seen Anuj Dal yet this season, which is a bit of a surprise, I have to say, but we may well see him. I think we'll see him at Chesterfield on Sunday in the first class match. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Here is Alex Hughes then, in from the city end, bowls to Rutherford, who pushes it up towards long off for a single. Update coming up. Yes. I am here this time, Pam. Yes, good evening. Yes, I'm here. Not a good start for Leicestershire, for Derbyshire, I'm afraid, because Leicestershire are 86 for 1. Scott Steele, the only man out so far, he made 25. Lewis Rees taking the catch as Skyer off Hayden Kerr. But Hamish Rutherford's on 27 from 21, and Aaron Lilly, the former Lancashire man, has got 31 from 18. The partnership worth 42 off 26 balls, and Derbyshire really need to either take some wickets or get the scoring rate down, and one would certainly lead to the other as well. So at the moment, Derbyshire just up against it a little bit in this must-win match, approaching the halfway stage in the Leicestershire innings. They're 87 for 1, and full commentary continues on the BBC Sport website and app. Next delivery from Hughes is pushed out into the offside. They're promising that I'll be back just after the news at 8 o'clock, so I better had be. 87 for 1 now. Lilly on to 32. Rutherford has 27.
Do you have to add that to your tally of missed updates?
But it's not a big tally. I think 3 now this season.
You said you do a little thing for
yes,
all the other commentators.
Yeah, I've missed 3. I missed one on Tuesday night as well. Hughes is in and bowls to Lilly, who clips it into the leg side for a single. In off the boundary comes Wayne Madsen, does the fielding, keeps them down to just the 1. Lilly moves on to 33, 89 for 1. And in getting to 89, I think they've reached the score that they made at Grace Road. And they were bowled out, Leicestershire, in the game that Derbyshire won earlier on this campaign.
Guest has moved to standing up as well.
Just to make sure that Rutherford doesn't get out of his crease. There's a big appeal from Alex Hughes, the left-hander. Perhaps pitching outside leg stump would have helped him, because Hughes is coming over the wicket. It signals a leg by. Alex Hughes is still doing the double teapot. He looked quite keen, didn't he?
Yeah, I wasn't convinced. I think it might have pitched outside leg.
Well, that would be favourite to the left-hander, wouldn't it? If he's not going to come around the wicket, he's almost taking LBW out of the equation. In comes Hughes again, bowling to Aaron Lilly this time. Slow delivery, and it's turned into the leg side, out towards Mark Watt at backward square leg. He does the fielding. A good over from Alex Hughes, concedes just 6, the best over of the innings so far. And at the halfway stage, Leicestershire, there we are 91 for 1. It's always bad when you say the same things that the person who is announcing on the public address system says. Sam Connors is going to bowl from the racecourse end, but that's a typical Alex Hughes kind of over. Pace off, mixes it up, cross seamers and all sorts. I mean, it's filth really, but it's very effective in T20 cricket.
It's what you need, is someone to bowl something a little bit different. Sometimes taking the pace off makes it more difficult to hit it out the ground, and as we saw, they just had to take the singles when they were on offer then. So it's a good over for Derbyshire.
Certainly is, and they need a few good overs. The run rate's down to 9, which is slightly more manageable. Here is Sam Connors bowling to Aaron Lilly, who carves it away into the offside for 4 runs. First delivery of the new over. So all the good work that Alex Hughes did has been undone with that first ball of the Sam Connors over, I'm afraid.
Yeah, this is where bowling partnerships work really well. It's all right, Hughes dotting it up or keeping it low at the other end, but if you can't back it up at the other side, then it's not really going to work.
And the modern way, I say modern, it's only in its 20th season T20 cricket, but the modern way is not to have a bowler. George Grimshaw's bowled a couple from the same end. In fact, he didn't bowl them in a row, so nobody's bowled successive overs from the same end yet. As Connors is in and bowls, that one is flogged into the offside, out towards the cover boundary, where Alex Hughes finds himself fielding now. Keeps him down to a single. Lilly moves to 39, 96 for 1. You very rarely see a bowler bowl successive overs from the same end anymore, do you? So those partnerships have almost disappeared.
Yeah, I think it's all dependent on the game as well, and I think matchups in terms of who's batting and what we think is going to work against them. I mean, our under-15s played Leicestershire yesterday.
Big win.
2 T20s. We bowled, after the first 3 overs, they'd only scored 1 run.
Oh.
So we were in the game.
Connors is in again. That's short, and it's driven out towards wide, long off for 4 runs. There was a dive there from Lewis Deploy, fielding close in, but he was never going to get anywhere near it. That was hit very hard indeed by Hamish Rutherford, who's now got his highest score of the season in T20 cricket. He's moved on to 32. I think his previous high was 29. He's had a pretty ordinary time of it, the Kiwi, since signing for Leicestershire, but appears now to be finding some form, wouldn't you just know it? He waits as Connors is in again and bowls to him, and this one is pushed out into the offside, straight to Lears to play. He waits for the ball to arrive. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get to the ball and affect any kind of run out. And they go through for another single, and the 100 is up for Leicestershire to rapturous silence. But in fact, it was already up. That's probably why they didn't applaud it. It was 101. I didn't hear them applaud the 100 either. They didn't applaud the 100 either, though.
Not even the Leicestershire bench either.
Here comes Connors again over the wicket, balls to Lilly, wide of the off stump, not wide of the blue guide that the umpire has. That's a good delivery from Sam Connors. Any dot ball at this stage of any T20 is a good ball.
Yeah, I think Lilly was just trying to get some bat on it there. He didn't really look like he moved his feet at all. He just sort of wafted with the hand outside the off stump. Can get away with that in T20 cricket sometimes.
Lily's waiting now as Connors is past the umpire and he thrashes this down towards third man. Got to watch the spin. The fielder down there does watch the spin. Hayden Kerr in the far distance. And it's the end of the over. 102, so 11 off that over from Sam Connors. 102 for 1 after 11. Ed's just asked me about a batsman who used to play for Leicestershire, Australian, Cosgrove, Mark Cosgrove. He's no longer with Leicestershire. He was a fearsome hitter of a cricket ball. I think he's gone back to Australia with his family. Alex Hughes is going to bowl his second, there we go, first bowler to bowl 2 overs in succession from one end.
I think this is a good call as well. He's held it up for the other over, so why not keep him going?
Keep listening, Ed. Here's Alex Hughes. 102 for 1, Leicestershire. Hughes is in, and that one is chipped up towards long on, where somebody looking remarkably like Wayne Madsen does the fielding.
Yeah, nice safe shot that is. Nobody's there. Easy single.
Well, that's it.
Not sure I'm a fan of that. Throw the helmet there from Scrimshaw. Did you see that?
It hit the floor, didn't it?
Bounced
into Brooke Guest's hands. He might have to have that helmet checked later on. Connors is in and bowls to Rutherford, who drives the ball down the ground to Wayne Madsen at long off for another single. 104 for 1. It's those middle overs at the moment where batsmen content to take a single off every delivery if they possibly can, and if they can get a couple of boundaries in and over as well, it's a huge success. And Brooke Guest, having taken the helmet off and placed it on the ground, now picks it up, puts it back on his head and goes to stand up to Aaron Lilly as Hughes is in and bowls. That was flayed out into the offside for 4 runs. 1 bounce, 2 bounces and into the advertising boards in front of the bar away to our right hand side. We did have a ball bounce into the bar in one of the games. I'm not sure, was it the Birmingham game?
It was.
It was the first game of the season, wasn't it? The first home game of the season. This is only Derbyshire's 3rd home game of the campaign, of course. We're going to have to start winning at home, as Shan Masood said to me. 108 for 1 now, Leicestershire. As in comes Hughes and bowls, and Lilly just clips that into the leg side. They've run 1 quickly. Connors is to the ball, pretty sharpish too. That keeps them down to a single. Excellent work from Sam Connors, who gets a low 5 off Wayne Madsen. And now the helmet's back on for Brooke Guest.
Yeah, he looks to be changing up for each batter, Brooke Guest does today. It's good to see that they've got different plans for different batters.
If only they were working. 109 for 1. In comes Hughes and bowls. That's off the toe end of the bat. Now there might be a shout that stumps here from Hayden Kerr to the far end, but Rutherford had got there in time. And that was a bit of a fortunate single for Hamish Rutherford, who moves to 35, 110 for 1. There are always plans.
It's if they work. It's nice to have a plan, but half the time they never go to plan.
Like the pedestrianisation of Norwich, isn't it? And you think, well, I'm not sure that was a good plan. In comes Hughes, and that one is guided very nicely down to 3rd man for 4 runs. There are 2 fielders on the edge of the circle, backward of square on the offside. That was played along the ground, and Aaron Lilly has got to his half century in double quick time, really, just 29 deliveries with his 6th 4 He's hit 2 sixes as well. That's been a good knock so far from Aaron Lilly, who's taken Leicestershire on to 114 for 1.
Yeah, it's a nice knock there. He's just played a nice sort of steady innings. I mean, it's 50 off 29, so you can't really say it's steady either, can you? But he's taken the singles when they're there and then always chipped away with a boundary when needed. So well made 50.
Slightly more expensive over from Alex Hughes. That one went for 12. Current run rate is 9.5 as Mark Watt returns from the racecourse end. Well, both of his previous overs from this end as well. 2 overs for 18. His last over went for 7. In comes Watt then over the wicket, bowling to Rutherford, who dances down the track and smacks it straight to Shan Masood at extra cover. Well, that's a very, very tame dismissal for Hamish Rutherford, who goes for 35 off 28. It's a much needed wicket for Derbyshire though. 114 for 2 now, Leicestershire.
Yeah, Derbyshire really needed something there to try and make something happen for them in this game, but as I said, it just seemed like there was no sort of reaction to it or anything there.
No, there were no wild celebrations, were there, from the Derbyshire fielders, and Hamish Rutherford just turned around and thought, what on earth have I done? He was on for a half century really, 35 from 28. But it's good for Mark Watt because he picks up a wicket. It's excellent for Derbyshire because they were desperate, really desperate for a wicket there, and you never know what happens. One sometimes brings 2, but here's Colin Ackerman, the man with a world record in T20 cricket, although it is for bowling. So that's some consolation. He picked up 7 wickets in an innings a couple of years ago. But he's out there with a bat at the moment, 114 for 2. Is that music? What are they doing?
Where's that coming from?
What? Around the wicket bowls to Ackerman, who gets an inside edge, a very thick inside edge, out into the leg side, fielded by Scrimshaw. And Ackerman is off the mark.
Watt stood with his hands on his head, sir.
Must have been quite close to the stumps. Well, we went square in the end, didn't it? But he's almost sneaked it past Ackerman's bat. 115 for 2. These games can change very, very quickly, and we all know that. As this one is off an outside edge from Aaron Lilly, down towards Hayden Kerr, who tests out Brooke Guest with his throw on the half volley.
The horrible throw-in. You don't want those.
No.
I've let it go past me. I'm not picking that up.
Why would you do that to your teammate? Watt again around the wicket. This time it's flayed square, or just backward of square on the offside by Lilly. Around goes Connors and he can't get there. I thought he was going to get there, but he couldn't in the end. He's a decent fielder, as I've been saying, Sam Connors, so that must have been very, very well hit by Aaron Lilly, who moves on to 54 and the Foxes to 119 for 2.
Yeah, he made good ground there and he looked like he almost got there.
I was convinced he was going to go. A 24-yarder from Mark Watt. And the ball, he had to reach for it a little bit there, did Aaron Lilly, and then he gets a single out into the offside, fielded once again by Sam Connors.
Does he have a signal for that? For Guest? I've not picked one up yet.
No, I haven't either. He told me, because he did one in the warm-up game against Notts, interestingly. Around the wicket he comes. This is off 22 yards, and it's just pushed up towards long on by Ackerman for a single, fielded by Lewis Rees. 121 for 2 at the end of the over, just 7 runs off that. He said he bowled one of his 24-yarders in the warm-up game against Notts, and Shan Masood was still talking to another fielder, telling him where he should be or what to do. He said he might have to think of a signal for the 24-yarder. And I did notice that he was talking to his fielder down at Fine Legham. I think it was George Scrimshaw, who's now got bowling back at the City end. So you just wonder whether he's formulated a signal or he's just thought he'd best not have a signal because the batsman might spot it.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things, isn't it, where it gets a bit well known, or you have the odd person will be like, oh, they rub their knee when they're about to do a bounce or something like that. So sometimes it's got to just get on with it.
There's a lot of controversy in baseball with when the catcher does the signal to the pitcher. The person standing at second base can see that. So they've got this new system with which is electronic for this season. I don't like it. Here is Scrimshaw in from the City end and bowls to Ackerman, who pushes the ball out into the offside. Hughes threatens to throw down the stumps at Aaron Lilly's end, but Lilly had got back.
need a bit of aggression as a fielder, you do.
Alex Hughes brings energy to the field, no question about it. In the same way that Anuj Dal does, another man who I just love watching him field. I don't think many cricketers will thank anybody for saying that they're best known for their fielding, but Anuj Dal is almost that person. Scrimshaw is in again. This one's pulled into the leg side rather unconvincingly, little airily, dribbles beyond the 30-yard circle, fielded by Sam Connors, and a single to Lily, who moves, no, to Ackerman rather, who moves on to 322 for 2.
It's one of those skills, it's one big thing that we've been talking about recently, is that everyone has to field, everyone has to bat. So with fielding, we're always saying, what are you going to do to make it enjoyable for you? Because if you're playing a 40 over, 50 over game, like for the girls, it's a long time for them to be out there.
You're out there for a long time in most forms of cricket. This is a short delivery that's lifted over the cover fielder on the edge of the 30-yard circle and all the way to the boundary for 4. Not a great delivery from George Scrimshaw, who's gone for 24 runs in 2.5 overs. Leicestershire move on to 126 for 2 now. Lily is on to 59, and as we saw in the game against Lancashire when it was Liam Livingston who made 75, we saw it Alex Hale scoring his 90 in the game against Notts Outlaws here, and on Tuesday night it was Josh Cobb who made 60 off 30 balls. A batsman in the opposition has managed to go big against Derbyshire's bowlers, and it's not doing them any favours, I'm afraid.
What you need is a Derbyshire batter to step up.
Absolutely. We've only had 5 centurions this season, so half centurions rather this season, as that one is fired in at the batsman who was backing away into the leg side and got between the bat and the batsman and went through to Brooke Guest, and there's that bugle again. Nothing from the crowd. It's like banging your head against a brick wall down there.
No, that was good from Scrimshaw. He saw he was trying to give himself a little bit more room, Lily, there, and he's just followed him across and got him a bit stuck.
Yeah, he was badly out of shape by the time the ball got to him, was Aaron Lilly. There's Scrimshaw again. In and ball's on. There's a big, well, a fine edge, a little edge really, but the ball flies down to the fine third man boundary for 4 more. That's twice that's happened to George Scrimshaw. It won't make him feel any better that it's a moral victory. Leicestershire moved to 130 for 2.
Yeah, again, he slashed it again, but the pace of Scrimshaw, he just gets away with it. And they've not got to slip in, because obviously with this time of the game, you're not going to have a slip in.
Would have gone over Slip's head, probably, wouldn't it? Anyway,
yeah,
but
it's absolutely flown.
Yeah, the fine leg. Hayden Kerr stood no chance, and he's quite fine, just down to our right-hand side.
I think Scrimshaw's just directed him a little bit wide. Only a tiny bit, not too much.
Here comes George then. Little waddle at the start of his run. In and bowls. That one again. He aims at Lily's legs as he backs into the leg side. They've run 1. That's all they'll get as Sam Connors fields it out in the leg side. And it's the end of the over. 11 off that one. 132 for 2. No. 10 off that one. 131 for 2. Scoreboard's too quick for me.
Lily looks like he's trying to give himself a bit more room on the offside at the moment. But I feel like he's been batting well, so I'm not sure he needs to change too much about what he's doing. So Derbyshire might be in with a chance here. If he's trying to do too much, that's your time to get the batter.
Get him. Interestingly, Shamrasu just had a chat with Mark Watt and then signalled for Matty McKiernan, who'd gone all the way out to the boundary in front of the scoreboard in East Midlands demolition stand, and called him up to bowl his next over. McKiernan has bowled 1 over for 13. Hayden Kerr's got 2 left. I don't think we'll see Wayne Madsen again. He bowled 1 over for 11 at the start. Mark Watts bowled 3 overs, 1 for 25. George Scrimshaw's bowled 3 now, gone for 29. Sam Connors' 2 overs have cost him 19. And Alex Hughes' 2 overs have cost him 17. There is Matty McKiernan bowling to Aaron Lilly, who's on 64, and he slaps that out into the offside, straight to Sam Connors, who's sweeping in the covers, and they go through for a single. Lilly moves to 65, 132.
Yeah, we saw this happen last time when they changed their mind on who was going to bowl, and then it wasn't a very good over.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see how this over goes for McKiernan.
I'm already worried. Here's McKiernan bowls, and that one is cut out into the offside. Nice piece of fielding by Mark Watt, diving away to his right-hand side. Can't prevent the single from being taken. 133 for 2. The other game in the North Group, they've reached the innings break. Northamptonshire at Wantage Road have made 220 for 3 against Worcestershire. McKiernan bowls. That's a flatter delivery. It's carved out into the offside. Shan Masood does the fielding. Left-handed bat, right-hand throw. 134 for 2. Lily moves on to 66 from 38. Surrey also gone past 200. 208 for 7 against Middlesex at Lords. That's a fine piece of fielding by Matty McKiernan off his own bowling as the ball was pushed into the ground by Ackerman, and McKiernan flew to the left and took it one-handed.
Yeah, that's a top piece of fielding, that is. And it's like we keep saying, bowlers have got to be more athletic now.
McKiernan's in again, and this one is hoiked down towards Lewis Rees at long on for a single by Ackerman, who moves on to 535 for 2. 4 runs off this over. Final ball being bowled. Can he get out of it here, Matty McKiernan? He's in, and this one is, well, an attempted slog by Aaron Lilly. It's a dot ball. 4 runs off the over. 135 for 2. Exactly what the doctor ordered from Matty McKiernan, who's bowled really nicely there.
Yeah, it's a lot better over than the other week when I can't remember who it was he was bowling.
I think Watt came on, didn't he? Watt came on having it was either Scrimshaw who came on and Watt was discarded, or the other way around, and it was a poor over.
But yeah, he's really done well there. No boundaries is what you need at this point in a game. 15 overs in, just keep him down as much as possible.
So I've now got 2 different tunes in my ear again. I can't work out which is which. I think it's Tina Turner, Inside the Ground, and a song that I don't recognise at all from back at the studio, which tells you much, all you need to know about my age, really. 135 for 2 then. We've got 5 overs to go, and the first of those is bowled by Mark Watt around the wicket. That's clubbed into the leg side. I thought for a moment it was going to go straight to Leas Deploy, but it hasn't. It's gone much finer than Deploy, and it's gone all the way for 4 runs, and that's a poor start to the over. Ackerman picks up a boundary. He moves on to 9. It's 139 for 2.
Yeah, Watt's changed end here as well, so he's bowled all his
First
other
time
overs
yeah.
from the racecourse end.
First time he's bowled from the city end. He's around the wicket again. Bowls to Colin Ackerman, who tries to cut and misses. Well taken by Brooke Guest. I think it's the only other game being played tonight. No, there are 2 other games being played tonight, but one of them has been badly affected by rain at Bristol. 61 for 2, Gloucestershire against Somerset in the big Southwest Derby. Next delivery is a full one from Mark Watt and pushed straight back to him by Ackerman. He's recovered nicely from the bad start to the over with a couple of dot balls here. The other game tonight is at Southampton as Watt is in and bowls to Ackerman, who reaches for that one, and Matty McKiernan will do the fielding, sweeping on the cover boundary as they go through for another single. Ackerman to double figures. He's on to 10. 140 for 2. The game down at Southampton, Hampshire, 113 for 3 in the 16th over against Essex. Here is Watt in and bowls. That's turned into the leg side by Aaron Lilly for a single. There is a shy at the stumps from Brooke Guest, but it misses. The batsman get through.
I think that's a skill that not a lot of keepers work on. So where it's just gone out in the field and they're the one that's got to chase after it, and they've got an attacker, some like that opportunity there. I think it's just a skill that not a lot of people work on, so it's nice that he looks like he works on it a little bit.
I'll tell you what I like about it. This one is down the ground. Is it going to be a catch? Oh, no, it's not a catch. It's been, well, has it been dropped or not? But either way, it's Lewis Rees down there in the far distance, I think, who hasn't taken the catch. It might have fallen just in front of him. And at the end of the over, it's 142 for 2. 4 overs to go. 7 runs off that over. Not a bad one from Mark Watt, whose 4 overs have gone 1 for 32. You can barely hear the studio and the racket that's going on inside the ground. I think the skill is throwing the glove off.
Flick it away.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. George Scrimshaw.
Change of ends.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just going to go through. He's bowled over number 4, 8, and 14, and this is over number 17. So he is bowling from an end from which he hasn't bowled before. Just gives the batsman something else to look at, really, something slightly different. 142 for 4 with 4 overs to go. There's the waddle. And he's in to bowl to Colin Ackerman, who pulls him for 6, I think, out into the leg side. Yes. Oh, and in fact, 1 bounce 4. In between the 2 fielders out there, Matty McKiernan and Alex Hughes. It was a decent looking shot, but just for a moment I thought it was 6, and then for another moment I thought he was going to get caught. And eventually it bounced and went over the boundary.
Well, Brooke Gueston just moved Alex Hughes a little bit finer over there, and then it went exactly where Hughes was previously stood.
Yes. You can't be everywhere. You can't be everywhere. Scrimshaw is in again, bowls to Ackerman, who this time thrashes it out into the offside, straight to Leas Deploy, and they get through for a single. 147 for 2. Update for FM listeners coming up fairly shortly. Just listening to the news at the moment. Ackerman on 16, Lilly 67 from 40, got to his half century off 29 balls, so he has slowed down. And now Shan Masood is having a fairly lengthy conversation with his bowler George Scrimshaw.
Matty McKinnon's being yo-yoed around in the field there.
He's been brought up to the edge of the 30-yard circle. I think he was probably standing in the first place. And the third man has gone out. Here comes the update. Scrimshaw in, bowls. Oh, that's up in the air. Going to be a wicket here. McKinnon's going to take it. Has taken it. 147 for 3. Perfect timing, Pam, because Derbyshire have just got their 3rd wicket. 147 for 3 now, Leicestershire. We're in the 17th over. George Scrimshaw is the bowler who's got the wicket. It was a good catch by Matty McKiernan. And the man to go was Aaron Lilly, 67 off 41. He had slowed down a bit. He got to his half century after just 29 balls. Earlier, Hamish Rutherford caught by Shan Masood after bowling of Mark Watt. Derbyshire have pulled it back a bit in the closing stages here, but an important 3.5 overs still to come. The run rate for Leicestershire is 9, and at the moment they're 147 for 3 in the 17th. And full commentary continues on the BBC Sport website and app. So 147 for 3. I didn't do the catch or the ball or anything justice. It was McKiernan who took the catch. It was quite high up on the bat, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, quite. It didn't go quite as high as the first catch of the match, but he still had to sort of watch it quite nicely. And he's sort of taken it and almost behind him, almost he's turned on himself to take it, which sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult. It was a good catch, good wicket as well.
But it was interesting, wasn't it? Because we've just been talking about McKiernan, who was being moved backwards and forwards and all sorts, and he ended up being in exactly the right position. So
and now they've moved him back out onto the boundary.
9 4s and 2 6s for Aaron Lilly in his knock. 147 for 3. And in comes Scrimshaw to bowl to the new batsman, who is Ben Mike, who's caught first ball. And George Scrimshaw will be on a hat-trick here. It was a simple catch for Wayne Madsen. Mike went to pull it, got a top edge, it looped in the air, and all of a sudden it's 147 for 4 and looking far, far healthier.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the celebration as well from Scrimshaw there. He's really gone for it. Jumped up really high, almost tumbled a little bit when he landed. It's not what you want to see from a fast bowler.
No. Easier catches Wayne Madsen will ever take.
Yeah, he's just sort of got him a bit squared up there, and he's taking it nicely at point there. Madsen has. But Scrimshaw's doing what he does best. Oh, there they are. They're the ducks.
Don't think we need that. And I certainly don't need that.
That's a bit harsh.
I think that's exceptionally harsh and slightly disrespectful, if I'm entirely honest. I don't like it. I don't like it.
No, Scrimshaw's doing what he does best, though, isn't he? Just firing it in short. Especially when you're new to the crease as well. It's a bit difficult.
Well, he's on a hat-trick and he's going to be bowling to Rishi Patel. Ben Mike came in ahead of Rishi Patel, presumably because he's more of a big hitter. So what can Scrimshaw do here? T20 hat-tricks, quite rare. I'm not sure if Derbyshire have got one or not. I'll have to check with David Griffin if he gets one. We almost G'd the crowd up there, didn't he?
That was good, that was.
Scrimshaw in, bowls to Patel, who turns this into the leg side. We don't have to check on T20 hat-tricks, and in fact they're going to come back for a second. It might be a team hat-trick as McKinnon throws the ball in, but Rishi Patel gets back in time to complete the second run, and it's 149 for 4. But wickets slow run rates down, don't they? And it's now below 9 again, and if Derbyshire can keep on top of it here, then get it down to 8, and if they only make 160, then no real damage done. They would expect to chase 160 on a pitch that they managed to score 197 on against Birmingham, chasing 200. Patel waits. Scrimshaw with 2 for 36 is pulled. Not particularly convincing. They're shy at the stumps from Lewis Rees. Misses, actually hits Rishi Patel, so we'll go and apologise for Lewis Rees. Patel will say he's fine. There was certainly not deliberate in any way, but a really good over for Derbyshire, that one. Patel's moved on to 3. The 150's up for Leicestershire, but 8 runs from the over and 2 wickets, 150 for 4 with 3 overs to go.
Yeah, it's a really good over from Scrimshaw there. He's sort of pulled it back and really given Derbyshire a chance there. I know he said 180 looked par, but hopefully if they keep going at this rate, Derbyshire, then they'll keep them a little bit lower than that.
No, I think if they can keep them below 180, they'll be relatively pleased. Here's Alex Hughes back for his third over. 2 overs for 17 so far. Hughes is in from the city end, and it strikes the pad of Rishi Patel, dribbles out into the offside dot ball.
I've got a question for you, Fletcher.
Oh, good.
Why are
Is it an easy one?
Patel's pads
a
different colour to everybody else's?
Ridiculously light, aren't they? They are ridiculously light. They're very, very bright, light green, whereas everybody else's pads are the same colour as the green in the Leicestershire kit. He didn't get the memo, I don't think. This is a full toss from Alex Hughes, looking for the Yorker, the slow Yorker. Ball is driven up to Lewis Rees up at long off for a single.
Yeah, no, he's got away with that one there. Full toss, only gone for 1. So that's keeping his over tight as well.
That's a win, isn't it, for Alex Hughes?
You always take it, bad ball, and you get away with it.
At this stage of the innings, the run rate down to 8.7 and over now as this next one strikes the pad. That's got to be close. Not out, says the umpire. It is a leg by. It looked pretty close. It seemed to keep a little bit low. That might just have been Alex Hughes' lack of pace.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that one there. I thought they were a good shout.
It looked good from here, didn't it? Yeah. I mean, when we are
almost directly behind it.
The batsman's got his back to us, though, so we can't really see where it hit. But
that's our excuse.
It felt good. This is a reverse coming out here, and there's an appeal from Alex Hughes, and he's given this time. There was barely an appeal from Alex Hughes, and Rishi Patel got the reverse out, was struck on the pad right in front. And Derbyshire have got their 5th wicket, and this has been a really good fight back from the Falcons. Alex Hughes now becomes the leading wicket taker for Derbyshire in T20 cricket. Re-overtakes Matt Critchley, had been in the lead previously, but now he's back in the lead for himself. 152 for 5 now.
That's a great milestone for Hughes, that is. So considering he's been a bit in and out of the team as of late as well, so he's really selling himself as being a key member of the team tonight.
Well, he can be, can't he? When he's proved it in the past how good a T20 cricketer, how good a cricketer, full stop, he is. He's one of the few capped players in the Derbyshire ranks. I remember him receiving his cap up at Chesterfield 2-3 years ago. And well, he'll be delighted to have picked up the wicket. 1 for 18 from his 2 overs and 4 balls. And all of a sudden that run rate's coming down. It's closer to 8.5 than 9 now. And this is exactly what Derbyshire wanted to do with 2 balls of this over, so 14 deliveries to go. 152 for 5 now. The new batsman is Lewis Hill, who turns the first delivery he faces into the leg side for 1, comes back for the second. The throw coming from Lears deployed by the batsman. That's good running. The ball went about 10 yards outside the 30-yard circle, but one short. That is that's criminal, absolutely criminal from the batsman. Good spot, Lauren. Good spot. And you don't see it signalled very often, do you?
Don't.
I love a 1 short. So the score has moved to 153.
That's one thing you can't be doing as a batter. You can't be going short.
Next delivery from Hughes is cut away, and that will be... oh, no, it won't be 4, because there's a fielder coming around. I hadn't spotted Matty McKiernan coming around. The ball had beaten Mark Watt, the batsman, get back for 2. And at the end of the over, a good over, just 5 off it, and a wicket. 155 for 5 now, Leicestershire, with 12 deliveries to go. And they will be, they'll be worried that they won't even get to 180.
Yeah, and I think from where they were, Leicestershire, they'd be a bit disappointed of where they've ended up at the moment. So I think it's been a really good fight back from Derbyshire, and they just need to finish off these last 2 overs at the same way they've been going for the last couple as well.
Hayden Kerr, 1 for 15 from his first 2 overs, will bowl one of the final 2 overs, the 19th from the racecourse end, and I would imagine that Alex Hughes will be given the opportunity to bowl the final over, although you don't really want... well, Sam Connors, of course. Sam Connors has bowled 2 overs for 19, so he's a candidate as well.
I think looking at how he's bowled his other 3 overs, I think I'd stick with Hughes.
Well, I think I would, but I've got a feeling it might be Connors. We'll see. It's definitely Hayden Kerr to bowl the penultimate over of the innings. Run rate 8.6. Leicestershire 155 for 5. Australian Kerr, left armour over the wicket, bowls a wide delivery that is signalled wide. Ackerman, as well, he wouldn't have been able to reach it even if he tried. I fancy it was not only wide of the blue line but wide of the popping crease as well.
Yeah, he's just got his line very wrong there.
Horribly wrong.
You can see what he's trying to do, trying to push it a little bit wider towards, so that he's got his fielders out on the offside as well. Or just a bit of a misjudgment there.
There he goes again. In the sunshine at the county ground. That one's wide, and that was in the air out towards the backward point boundary. It bounces once. Connors gets there and returns the ball, but the batsmen are through for 2. Ackerman moves on to 18, and the Leicestershire total moves to 158 for 5. Absolutely nothing. Excellent.
It was a little bit more than before.
Do you think?
Maybe a little bit. Could hear slight noise.
Slight noise.
It wasn't dead silent.
It wasn't resounding though, was it, from the crowd? Not resounding by any manner of means. Rehan Ahmed, the young England under-19 spinner, is just got bat in hand over on the far side in front of the dugouts. He'll be the next batsman in should a wicket fall. In the next 11 deliveries, Kerr, orange soles to his boots, in and bowls. That one is clubbed out to a wide long off for 4 runs. It's a good shot by Ackerman, that, because he had to generate pretty much all the pace himself to get it out to wide long off. And he picks up a boundary, moves to 22, 162 for 5.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to up the rate a little bit again, try and get those last runs to get them as close to 180 as they possibly can.
We've got 18 to get and 10 deliveries in which to get them. In goes Kerr and bowls wide again, and this time he plays it. If he'd have left it, it would have been a wide. It's out towards Sam Connors, who again is quickly to the ball and throws it in. That's excellent work once more from Sam Connors. Ackerman moves to 23, 163.
Yeah, nice mention on my Twitter here from Heather Beattie at Leicestershire.
Yeah.
To us about how we're giving a bit of time for the under-15 girls for that game. It was a very interesting last game.
Was it?
We had a run out, a no ball, a free hit, on a 1-run win somehow.
Wow.
It was a nightmare.
Kerr bowls, and he worked some space for himself there. Lewis Hill, the ball is... well, he moved all the way into the offside, tried to turn it somehow into the leg side. In fact, it hit him in the pad, so he doesn't even get the run for it. Leicestershire did. They moved to 164 for 5. That was horrible. Lewis Hill is a decent operator, the Leicestershire wicket keeper.
I think sometimes you just got to try and get the runs where you can, don't you, sometimes?
Well, you can be a little bit too funky, can't you, I think? You get too clever for your own good, as my dad used to say. 2 balls of the Hayden Kerr over left, and this one is in the air. Shan Masood, it's over his head. He was backpedaling, then he turned around to run towards the ball, and eventually the batsman will get back for 2 runs. Wasn't too far over his head, also converging on the ball with Lewis Rees and Sam Connors. It landed in no man's land in the end. And Ackerman moves to 25, 166 for 5 with 7 deliveries to go.
Yeah, they're always difficult ones. They are, when you're sort of running with the ball coming over your head. You're either going to get it or you're not, I think, with those ones.
Sadly for Shan Masood on the edge of the 30-yard circle, he didn't. He's waiting now as Kerr is in and bowls. That one is up in the air. Who's going to be underneath this one? Can Masood get to this? He's got to it, and he takes the catch as well. Good catch too. It was in the air for a long time, and he's very, very pleased with himself there. Is Shan Masood taking that catch? He called everybody in. That's the final ball of the over. Ackerman goes for 25. Good catch by Masood, and a second wicket of the evening for Hayden Kerr.
Yeah, he's made very good ground there, Masood has. Looked like it was miles away from him, but he's very quick on his feet. And nice steady catch there.
25 off 20 deliveries from Colin Ackerman, 3 fours only in that innings, and it's 166 for 6 now with 6 deliveries to go. And it's going to be Alex Hughes. You were right, I was wrong. So there were 11 runs off the over, but 4 wickets have fallen in the last 3, and Alex Hughes has picked up one of those. Can he get another one? Will he need to get another one, as the new batsman is Rehan Ahmed, England under-19 World Cup man from last winter. I think it was last winter. 166 for 6. Here is Hughes, bowls to him, and he gets the toe end of the bat on that ball. It goes out into the leg side. They're going to come back for the second, as well as Connors returns the ball from the deep, and they do indeed get back for 2. 168 for 6. In fact, it's Lewis Hill who was on strike, so that was all complete nonsense from me. Not for the first time, it has to be said. Not for the first time. In comes Hughes again and bowls. This one is in the air, out towards third man, and that's going to be 2 bounces and into the advertising boards for 4. And Lewis Hill just causing a little bit of damage towards the end of this innings, moves on to 9, 172 for 6 with 4 balls to go.
This is what Leicestershire will want, a few quick fire runs at the end as well. I mean, they're on to 172, so they're getting closer to that 180 mark, which we were thinking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm starting to look smart here, thinking that 180's par. Here's Hughes, in and bowls. Down the track goes Hill this time and clubs it up towards long on for 4. Around went Wayne Madsen, couldn't get there, and Hill moves on to 13, 176 for 6 now. That was a good shot.
Yeah, it's just gone straight in between the 2 fielders out the boundary over there.
Still 3 deliveries to go, so if they don't get to 180 now, it would be a surprise. This over so far has gone for 10. Could it be a momentum changer? This time he's guided it out really to the man on the point boundary. It's Matthew McKiernan. They do think about the second, but have to turn it down because it's a good throw from McKiernan from the deep. 177 for 6 with 2 balls to go. And Rehan Ahmed faces his first delivery of the innings. Penultimate ball.
The best outcome for Derbyshire here is that the new batter struggles.
Absolutely. A wicket would be handy. Hughes bowls, and that was clubbed up towards long on. I think they're happy with the single here as it's fielded by Wayne Madsen. 178 for 6. Ahmed off the mark. So the final ball of the innings, which will give me time to give us time to have a quick breather before the second innings starts, and the next update is due just at around past. The cut-off was 17 minutes past and the time is 20 past. I hope this over started in time. Here is Alex Hughes then. Final ball of the innings, bowls to Lewis Hill, who swings it into the leg side. They've run 1. They're coming back for the second. That's a good piece of fielding down there by Sam Connors. They're going to come back for the third as well, and they're not going to make it surely. Oh, they do make it. That's slightly disappointing. They come back for 3 and they make, in the end, 181 for 6. Lewis Hill, 17 not out from just 8 deliveries. Rehan Ahmed ends up with 1 from 1. Earlier on, 67 from Aaron Lilly, and 35 from Hamish Rutherford, 25 from Colin Ackerman as well, but some decent bowling figures. 2 for 37 George Grimshaw, 2 for, they've all disappeared, 2 for 25 Hayden Kerr. They've gone quickly. I've got them here though, fortunately. 1 for 32 Mark Watt, and 1 for 37 or 38 for Alex Hughes. That hasn't updated. 36, 1 for 36 Alex Hughes. 181 for 6, about par what we said before.
Yeah, I think Derbyshire really did bring it back. They looked like they were probably going to start pushing for 200 at one point, Leicestershire, but some good overs in there in the middle for Derbyshire sort of pulled it back. But I think they'll be a bit disappointed that they let it go towards the end there. They were in a good sort of position, and they kind of still got to the par score, so I think Derbyshire want to come out and try and keep the rate up as quick as possible.
26 runs off the last 2 overs to go from 155 for 5 to 181 for 6. Could be damaging, we will find out. Derbyshire desperately need to win this game. There'll be a short break now, and we'll be back in around about 7-8 minutes with the Derbyshire reply to Leicestershire's 181 for 6. Way onto the field. That's Lewis Rees and the skipper Shan Masood. And Derbyshire, well, their target is 182 for what would be their third win of the season. If they don't get there, it'll be a 5th defeat, and that almost certainly spells the end of their T20 campaign before it's really reached its halfway stage, which is would be hugely, hugely disappointing. Dave Fletcher alongside Lauren Tuffrey for this one. Lights on, blue sky over above. It's as nice now as it has been all day.
Yeah, there's a bit of a breeze now, though.
Is
I am regretting the shorts.
Well, yes. I went out on Friday night at the end of the Notts game with a radio mic to do an interview in just a t-shirt. That was a huge mistake.
That was brave.
Yeah, no, it was just ridiculous. So, who's going to bowl the first? It's like Ben Mike. It is Ben Mike. That's why it looks like him, because it is Ben Mike who's going to bowl the first over of the Derbyshire chase. So in pursuit of 182 at a run rate of around about 9.1 according to the scoreboard. I can't take any credit for that, really. We also have the Duckworth Lewis par scores on the scoreboard, which are always useful just as an indicator of exactly what's happening in a match. It isn't going to rain now, I don't think. And Ben Mike is on his way in, and he tries to flick it away down the leg side. It's a wide. Update coming up. And hi, Palm. Yes, Derbyshire have just started their chase of 182 to win this game. Leicestershire making 181 for 6. They did at one point look as though they were on course for 200 when Aaron Lilly and Hamish Rutherford were going great guns. Hamish Rutherford making 35 on his return to the county ground, and Aaron Lilly making 67. But they sort of slowed down a touch after that as Derbyshire looked to be picking up their first boundary out towards the backward square leg area, and it has hit the rope. They've moved on to 5 without loss. So Colin Ackerman with 25 towards the end, and then the last 2 overs both relatively expensive, but 2 wickets apiece for Hayden Kerr and George Scrimshaw managed to keep Leicestershire down to 181 for 6. So Derbyshire need 182, and after 1 legitimate delivery, they are 5 without loss. And I forgot to tell everybody that we're online, but they know where we are now. That one's turned into the leg side slightly aerially by Shan Masood. It wasn't too far away from the fielder either. That was heart in mouth time as it went towards Naveen Ul Haq. We'll see him bowling his 75 varieties of slow ball at some point this evening. But a good start for Derbyshire. 6 without loss after 2 balls. Duckworth Lewis said they should only be on 2, so...
You'll take it.
Yes, miles in front, 176 to win. In goes Ben Mike again, bowling to Lewis Rees for the first time, and Rees just pushes this one out into the offside. And there is no run as it's fielded there by Hamish Rutherford. And his left arm throw, he's in an extra cover. The fielder's outside the circle, both on the leg side. There's a deep backward square leg who couldn't stop that 4. Being scored by Shan Masood. Yeah, no, absolutely. They're both shielding their eyes, aren't they? There's a man on the mid-wicket boundary as well. They're both shielding their eyes from the setting sun. And who thought we'd be saying that a little bit earlier on today? Not me. Not when it was raining, certainly. Mike in again. Rees turns it down. Very fine, down a fine leg for 4. Off the gloves, I fancy, as much as the bat. Or is it off pads? Oh, it's off his pads. So he didn't get any part of his bat or gloves on it. Doesn't matter for Derbyshire, though. They're into double figures. They're 10 without loss.
Yeah, Mike seems to be struggling a little bit, getting his line right to the 2 left-handers.
And that's the thing as well. It is 2 left-handers who open the bat. Then they go into left-right if they possibly can, Derbyshire. It'll be interesting to see if they lose a wicket in the power play who comes in. Hayden Kerr came in at Northamptonshire. Rees waits. Mike, he's past the umpire now, and he's driven up to mid-on, where it's fielded by Scott Steele, and they go through for another single. So Rees is off the mark, 11 without loss with 1 ball of the opening over of Derbyshire's pursuit of 182 still to be bowled. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm doing that on my telephonic device. They still baffle me, Lauren. They still baffle me.
So I still get confused, and it's my job, so...
Yeah, no, I'm hopeless, really. In comes this next delivery, and it's crashed out into the offside by Shan Masood, but he's only going to get a single. He turns as though he wants another run, but they settle for one. 12 off the first over, Derbyshire. 12, oh dear. 12 without loss. And here is that song.
It's a bit early for it.
It's very early, isn't it? Very early for the song.
We were saying earlier, we were sat with some of my mates down there earlier. We were watching Sean Masood warm up to bat. And we all said, we'd love to have a bat like his.
Yeah.
It could come off the toe and it still sounds a lot better than coming off the middle of my bat currently. So
I think he probably has his made for him, though. I don't think he just goes into a shop and buys one.
It just sounds good, doesn't it? I like a bat that sounds nice.
First over from the City end, I think, is Scott Steele on a weight confirmation. I don't necessarily know what Scott Steele looks like without his seeing the number on his back, but I think it's Scott Steele. We'll get confirmation fairly shortly. It is Scott Steele, and he's in around the wicket with his spin, and Masood drives into the offside. Good stop by Rutherford, an extra cover, diving away to his left-hand side. Chris Britton says he made his Derbyshire League debut aged 49 last Saturday, so there's hope for everyone. Obviously, we were talking earlier about, oh my word, Shan Masood has smashed that ball. Well caught by the man in the orange top in front of the bar. He's got hold of that one, and he has launched it for 6, and Shan Masood is up and running. He's on 12, 18 without loss.
Yeah, he's not hanging around, is he, Masood, today?
That was some shot.
He's going for it. That is a great shot.
Some shot. Next delivery. Oh, he's gone for the turn round the corner. It's hit him in the pad, and they've gone through for a leg by. And that was a bit of a cross the line hoik, really, from Shan Masood. Not what we're used to seeing him play. I mean, it's what you have to do in T20 cricket. Some of the time, we don't see much of it in red ball cricket from Masood, and I'm looking forward to seeing him playing at Chesterfield starting on Sunday against Middlesex in the County Championship. A steal again around the wicket, and this time Reese cuts, but straight to the man at backward point, who is Rishi Patel. And Patel does the fielding, and there is no run. Steele aborts his run on this occasion.
Yeah, if I'd have known that Chris Britton was up for playing, I'd have got him playing a lot earlier, because he was at Chesterfield, which is where I used to play.
Well, he made his debut.
His son played a bit when I was captain.
Okay.
So when I was short, if I'd have known, Chris, you'd have been in.
You'd have been straight in. You could have made your debut at 45. Next delivery is cut by Lewis Rees, but straight again to the fielder on the edge of the circle. It's the end of the over. Only 7 runs from it, and 6 of those were with one blow. But Scott Steele has completed the second over. It's 19 without loss, and Derbyshire, well, the run rate is 9.5, the required rate is 9. They're right up with it, and here is Naveen Ul-Haq, the Afghani, with his 73 varieties of say. He hasn't got that many, clearly. Well, that's what he tells everybody.
How many shall we see?
Was he serious then? Or was that just measuring his run up? Because Shan Masood was never at any stage ready to face that. He's having a look round and see where the fielders are outside the circle, one on the offside at cover, and one backward of square on the leg side in front of the dugouts away to our left-hand side. Everybody else, of course, in the power play inside the 30-yard circle. As Naveen is on his way in, bowls, and that one is carved backward of square on the offside. It's going to go all the way for 4. I fancy there's a good dive. It isn't going to go all the way for 4. That's excellent work by Will Davis, of all people, out there in the distance, and keeps them down to 2. The former Derbyshire quick. I say of all people, that's suggesting that he can't field. He clearly can.
I was going to say that was a bit harsh.
It was harsh, wasn't it? Yeah, it was harsh.
Made good ground.
I apologise to Will and his family. He's a good kid. He's done well this season for Leicestershire. Didn't play an awful lot of T20 for Derbyshire from memory, if any. 21 without loss. Naveen digging a hole. Naveen is in again. That one's turned into the leg side by Shan Masood. There's at least 2 here as well. I think that's Aaron Lilly coming around the boundary from backward square leg. Indeed it is. And Derbyshire pick up a couple of runs. They move on to 23 without loss. Masood on to 16.
Yeah, Masood 16 off 8, so it's going along nicely
Yeah,
there.
not bad, 200. Even I can work that out. 16 off 8, strike rate of 200. 1-4-1-6. And in comes Naveen again. Bowls to the Pakistan opening batsman who viciously hooks around the corner for 4 runs. And Lilly was probably only 10 yards away from the ball when it went over the boundary. Was from where he started. He was only, yes. But that's a terrific shot from Shan Masood. He moves up to 27 without loss.
Yeah, he's just hit it so well. I think Lily's just admired the shot there a little bit.
Yes, that's not really what you want as a bowler, is it? Your square leg fielder admiring a shot. But where he's standing now, the ball went over the boundary rope, less than 10 yards away from him. And
Straight into the Derbyshire dugout.
He didn't get anywhere near it, did he? Nowhere near it. Masood waits, Naveen bowls, and he crashes this one out into the offside. There's Will Davis. What a fine fielder he is. And he makes them, keeps them down to a single. That was very straightforward for Will on that occasion. 28 without loss.
You might be digging yourself a bit of a hole there.
Will is a very clever bowler. He played in the game that Aaron Donald scored the equal second fastest double century in first-class cricket at Colwyn Bay. And I'm fairly sure that Will managed not to bowl a single delivery at him the entire double century.
That is a good effort.
That is a terrific effort from Will. He picked up some wickets in that game against Glamorgan. It was blisteringly hot on the North Wales coast, absolutely roasting. A member of the Derbyshire media team got sunstroke. In goes Naveen, over the wicket, bowling to Lewis Rees, who turns it into the leg side, but straight to the only man inside the 30-yard circle. That's Ben Mike, I fancy.
That's hurt his finger, that
It has. It's just bent one of the fingers back there. That's a nasty one for Ben Mike. He'll be shaking his hand for some time after that. Because it is quite chilly out there now, isn't it? There are 1 or 2 youngsters running around in just t-shirts, but that's what youngsters do. And just one in the car park in a yellow top, just making his way around the back of the pavilion. As Naveen is on his way into Lewis Rees once again. Rees just takes a step into the leg side, pushes it up towards Colin Ackerman at mid-off on the edge of the 30-yard circle, and they get through for another single. Rees moves on to 2-10 off that over, 29 without loss after 3 at the same stage, after 3 overs. Well, would you believe it? Leicestershire were 29 without loss. Funny how these things happen.
Going play-by-play here, they are.
Derbyshire will be pleased with that.
They're still ahead on the DLS par scores.
Well, they had that really good spell as well, didn't they? Overs 14, which were 15 and 16 and 17. They only conceded 19 runs off the 3 overs. It was just the last 2 overs. Then there was another one after that went for 5 as well. So 24 runs off 4 overs late on in the innings is a really good effort. That's when wickets were falling. George Scrimshaw with 2 in 2 to finish with 2 for 37. A couple for Hayden Kerr as well. Lewis Rees on strike, pulls that into the leg side for 6. Down towards deep backward square leg. He got onto that very quickly. Short ball from Will Davis, who's beginning a new over. His first, and his first ball has been dispatched over the boundary rope, and Derbyshire move on to 35 without loss.
Yes, crashed into the marquee windows that has there, and they look like they're still trying to find the ball.
Well, there's a statistic about Lewis Rees and his 6 hitting ratio, and he's got something like 1.96s per innings, something along those lines. Apologies to David Griffin, I clearly haven't remembered it correctly, and I've probably misread it as well. But he's certainly got more than 1 6 per innings in his Derbyshire career, which is a pretty decent effort when he's opening the batting, when the ball is likely to do something. He's got a high score of 97 not out as well. I think that was against Lancashire. Again, it's all from memory. And,
that would be good if it's even close to being right. I think that's a good memory, Liz.
All right, we'll have to look it up now. I'm sure it was. In comes Davis, and this time it's just guided. Backward of square on the offside. Ben Mike, not Ben Mike at all. Clearly isn't Ben Mike. It's Rishi Patel who does the fielding on the edge of the 30-yard circle. They go through for another single. Rees moves to 9, 36 without loss. How do I find that out then? I know how I find that out, I think. I'm going to try and do 3 things at once. No, that's never going to work, is it? It's never going to work. In a million years. Oh dear, pressing that button hasn't done me any favours either. That one will be better. Will Davis bowls and Masood cuts, and it's beaten the man on the edge of the 30-yard circle, who is Ben Mike, and he's now chasing it down, but the ball's going to win the race to the boundary, and it's 4 more to Derbyshire. Masood moves on to 25. Derbyshire are 39 without loss. What is that music?
Don't know.
40 without loss, I beg your pardon. Masood on to 25.
Yeah, he's done well there for Masood. Just pierced the field. I think that was Ben Mike as well, I think, at cover, who sort of almost tripped over his feet when he's gone to pick it up.
In comes Davis again, and that one is clipped up towards a wideish mid-on. There's a rather extravagant tumbling stop by Scott Steele. Masood moves to 26, 41 without loss, rather. His T20 record. That's teams, that's no good, is it? Oh, is it? No, it is. No, it is. I'll get there. There we go. That's the one that I want, I think. Then we have to find the 97, which was Lancashire. This one is pushed by Rees up towards mid-off. Ackerman does the fielding. They scamper through for another single. 42 without loss. Yes, his 97 not out was against Lancashire. How about that? That's good. That's good. I'm really pleased with myself. Got an 80 not out against the Rajshahi Kings, playing in the I think he was in the Bangladesh Premier League when he scored that. 75 not out against Northants, 66 against Durham. His high score against Leicestershire is 51. And Davis is in and bowls this time to Shan Masood, who pushes this one up to mid-on. There's a shy at the stumps from mid-on that misses the stumps by about 1.5 yards from Scott Steele. Masood gets through for the single, 27 to him, 10 to Rees, 43 without loss at the end of 4 overs, and it's going very nicely indeed at the moment for Derbyshire in their pursuit of 182.
Yeah, I think Masood, I say this every time I come in, but Masood really pushes those ones, and he's really putting those fielders under pressure already tonight. So it's just helping them keep ticking along and stay ahead of that rate. I mean, they're going at 10.8 at the moment according to that board over there.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. 10.8 at the moment. Shan Masood. I'm sure I can find out what he got his century against. It certainly wouldn't have been in this country, because this is the first time he's played domestic cricket in this country. So Naveen is going to continue. Naveen Ul-Haq, he's going to be bowling to Shan Masood, who cuts him away for 4 runs, I fancy. Will Davis is running around the boundary, but he's never going to get there. He puts the dive in, but that was hit very, very hard indeed once again from Shan Masood. When he hits the ball, it stays hit, but he doesn't seem to overhit it. There's no real muscle involved, is there?
It's just all timing from Masood. I think it just looks really natural when he goes to hit it. I think sometimes some players look like they throw everything at it, and it sometimes doesn't go all the way, whereas he just pushes on it and it's flying to the boundary.
Davis did what he could to get round the boundary, but put the dive in and couldn't get there. Here's Naveen again. Masood on 31. That one is played down to third man. That'll be 4 more in between the 2 fielders on the edge of the 30-yard circle. I'm saying it'll be 4 more. It will be 4 more. The fielder puts the dive in, puts the slide in, but takes the ball over the boundary rope with him, and it is 4 more. And Masood moves on to 35 now. And the Derbyshire half century is up, 51 without loss in the 5th over.
Yeah, Masood looks like he's not quite hit it exactly where he wanted to, or really got anything behind it, but again on this outfield it's just flying away.
50 up for the Falcons.
50 up for the Falcons.
Still a bit of a poor clap there as well.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? Wasn't great. You'd have thought they'd want a clap to keep their hands warm. 8 off the over so far. 2 deliveries have gone, and this one is clubbed into the onside by Masood. There might be 2 here. Ben Mike's got there, but then he lands on the ball and then it dribbles through his legs, so the batsmen get through for 2. Masood moves on to 37 from just 16 deliveries. Remember, earlier on today we saw a 29-ball half century from Aaron Lilly. He hit 6 4s and 2 6s in that half century, but then he slowed down, or was forced to slow down by the Derbyshire bowlers. They're bringing, perhaps bravely, Will Davis in off the cover boundary onto the edge of the 30-yard circle. They've put the long on out, Scott Steele, as well as Aaron Lilly at backward square leg of Leicestershire. Still in the power play, remember. 9 balls of power play still to go. Naveen bowls, that's clipped into the leg side by Masood. There'll be 2 here as well. That's excellent running. Excellent placement of the ball as well by Shan Masood. He moves to 39 now, and it's 55 without loss.
Yeah, he's just finding those gaps nicely, isn't he? So just sort of forcing the Leicestershire fielders to really get their steps in today.
Yes, absolutely. 2 fielders there, Ben Mike and Aaron Lilly, running towards the ball, but both would have been resigned to the fact that the batsman would comfortably get back for 2 runs. And Masood waits, Naveen bowls to him, and that one is turned into the leg side. Aaron Lilly is there and has to get his body behind the ball. Masood wants to come back for the second, and we'll get back comfortably for the second. In fact, the ball went to Lewis Reese's end, but again, really good running. Lilly didn't take it cleanly, and once he hadn't taken it cleanly, Masood was straight back for the second run. He moves to 41 off 18.
Yeah, he's hit that well, and I think Lilly's done well to sort of keep behind it and not let it go past. So he's just sort of let it hit him, and then thought, I'll try and get a good throw in after that.
Here comes Naveen ul Haq once again, bowls to Masood. A fuller delivery that it's clipped out into the leg side once more. That's going to race away for 4. How on earth has that gone to the boundary for 4? He did well to dig it out, in all honesty. And he has moved on to 45 not out. Derbyshire to 61 without loss after just 5 overs. 18 runs off the Naveen ul Haq over by my rudimentary maths and calculations. I'll double check that. There were 3 4s, which is pretty much 12, and then 3 2s. So that makes 18. Terrific stuff from Shan Masood. I never asked David Griffin this kind of thing. Quickest half centuries and all that kind of stuff, but I reckon
it's got to be up there.
It's got to be up there, hasn't it? 29 balls, Aaron Lilly, and he was motoring. 6 4s and 2 6s.
Masood's just not, he's just playing a nice sort of steady innings, isn't he? He's just sort of getting the ball up there.
Scott Steele begins a new over and does exactly what you want him to do, really. Clips the ball up to mid-on the edge of the 30-yard circle to give the strike back to Shan Masood, 62 without loss. Derbyshire's best power play was 60 without loss against Notts and 62 for 3 as that one as well. It's just dispatched summarily, really, by Shan Masood over the head of the man at mid-on and all the way to the boundary for 4 more, and he's 1 away from a half century here, Shan Masood. That was his 7th 4. He's hit 1 6 as well. He looks in imperious form this evening, it has to be said.
Yeah, he's not looked like he's even hit that as well as he possibly could either.
No,
So it's not too far over the fielder's head, so he's just hitting it, just going wherever he wants it to go.
Steele in and decides not to deliver that delivery, or that ball, call it what you will. Ahmed and Parkinson both warming up at short third man and short fine leg. Bowls to Masood, who clubs it away into the offside, goes through for the single, and it's a half century for Shan Masood. His second for Derbyshire, his second against Leicestershire, of just 21 deliveries. Absolutely remarkable effort from Shan Masood. He's hit 7 4s and 1 6, and he's taken Derbyshire to 67 without loss with 3 deliveries of the power play to go.
Very good power play from Derbyshire here.
Next delivery, Lewis Rees plays it out into the leg side where it's fielded by Aaron Lilly, who's had an awful long trek from his previous fielding position in front of the dugouts to in front of the old scoreboard and the bar, which is, I don't know, 150 yards or more.
He's doing boundary to boundary.
That's unbelievable. Masood drives this one in the air over the top of the man at mid-off. 1 bounce 4. He didn't get hold of that one at all, by the way, Shan Masood. He's moved on to 54. Derbyshire 72 without loss, by far their best power play of the season. And exactly what they wanted in a game that they simply have to win to keep their hopes of qualification alive. Such is T20 cricket, though. You just never know what's around the corner. Masood, well, what around the corner is a ball that isn't too far away from the man on the edge of the circle at mid-off, but it's far enough away from him to go all the way past and all the way to the boundary, and that is the end of the power play. 76 without loss with 15 runs off that over from Scott Steele, who's now bowled 2 overs for 21. Shan Masood has 58 from 23, and he wants a drink and he deserves one. Lewis Rees, well, he's only faced 13 balls and he's got 12.
You've got to take your drink, even as Rees here. Take it while it's being offered.
So Callum Parkinson, the man who really should have played for England rather than his brother, in my opinion, in the last test as a replacement for Jack Leach. They're looking for a like-for-like replacement. So they replaced a left-arm spinner with Lancashire's leg spinner. They got the wrong Parkinson, because this one is a left-arm spinner. And last season was the only English qualified spinner to take 50 wickets in the county championship. He is a very, very good cricketer, Callum Parkinson. And coincidentally, he's from Bolton. Purely coincidentally. That is coincidentally. He had a brief loan spell here at Derbyshire a few years ago. His first delivery is on leg stump and turned into the leg side by Lewis Rees for a single. 77 without loss, Derbyshire now. The current run rate, Derbyshire's run rate, is 12.5. They now require 7.5 from here on in to win the game, and they've got themselves into a terrific position.
I think this is what Derbyshire needed, is go big early on.
Bit of confidence for tomorrow night as well. Shan Masood's got a bit of luck here. He's going to get 4 runs. He had a real swing at that one. It's come off the edge of the bat and gone down to a very fine third man for 4 runs. He's moved on to 62. 70. Or has he gone on to 58? Yeah, 62. 81 without loss. It's too early to mention what I almost mentioned there, so I'm not going to mention it.
So it seems like it's his night. It's just
it does feel like his night,
anything's
doesn't it?
just going where he wants it to go.
Even where he doesn't want it to go. Oh, he's smashed this down the ground. He's going to be in trouble, as he knows. It's gone wide of the fielder and all the way to the boundary rope for 4. Scott Steele couldn't get around in time. Well, he looks like a man on a mission here, Shan Masood. He is throwing the bat at just about every delivery. He's moved on to 66 from 25 balls, and it's 85 without loss. This is quite astonishing from Shan Masood.
Do you think he's got somewhere he needs to be later on?
Dinner reservations for Shan Masood. This one is pulled into the leg side violently. Will Davis is running around, and Will Davis gets it. That's a terrific piece of fielding. What a fielder Will Davis is. Down at long on this occasion. Keeps them down to 2. That was excellent work from Will.
Can't quite see past the wall here.
I always knew he was a good fielder, though, Will. Said it many times.
That's it.
87 without loss. This one is driven along the ground, and Davis has got more work to do. He's going to do this more comfortably. He fumbles it this time, but they don't go back for a second run, and Masood looks slightly disappointed as he moves on to 69 off 27, and Derbyshire to 88 without loss in the 7th over. Parkinson, quite a lengthy run-up for a left-arm spinner. That one is clipped nicely into the leg side by Lewis Rees. Aaron Lilly comes in off the boundary to do the fielding, and as a result keeps them down to a single. It's the end of the Parkinson over. 89 without loss, 13 off that one. At the same stage, after 7 overs, Leicestershire was 66 for 1. And going pretty well.
Yeah, we thought they started quite well, but Masood's really taking it to the bowlers today, which is sort of nice to see that sort of intent as well. And I think he's mostly boundaries and 2s for Masood today, so that single will be quite upsetting.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's got 50 of his 69 runs from boundaries, which is mad. He's striking at a 255. And much to everyone's disappointment, Lewis Rees is on strike, bless him. 14 from 15. I love Lou. Good partnership between these two, and that one is pulled into the leg side. Now then, there might be 2 here. They're going to come back for the second as well. The fielder's made a terrible hash of it initially down in the far distance. I'd love to tell you who that was. I think it's Aaron Lilly. No, it isn't. No, it's not.
Can't quite see the number.
No,
from
I
here.
can't either. I've got no chance of seeing his face. He just made a bit of a mess, and they came back for 2. Rees moves on to 16. Next delivery from Rian Ahmed is played in pretty much the same position, and Masood is back for 2 more. That is Aaron Lilly, who doesn't pick it up cleanly. They do get back for 2 more. They move to 93 without loss, and Rees moves on to 18 from 17.
Is it Steele out there?
Good shout. Yep, 55. I think you're right. It is Scott Steele. Here is Rian Ahmed, and that one is turned around the corner. No run on this occasion. It's Hamish Rutherford. It's far easier to see. He's still got the S. He's still got the magnificent tash. Hamish, good to see. The Kiwis do like a bit of facial hair. And odd haircuts as well. This one is an attempted sweep by Lewis Rees. Again, it goes to Rutherford, but this time it goes a bit to his left, so they can get through for a single. Rees moves to 19 from 19 and brings Shan Masood back onto strike. He's got 69 from 27. The Falcons are 94 without loss in the 8th over.
Be interesting to see if he's still going to push at the bowler here.
I think he is. For some reason, Rehan Ahmed started to bowl, and now he's decided to come around the wicket. He was going to go over. Here he is, around the wicket, bowls to Masood, who a dot ball, and Rian Ahmed, as the ball goes straight to Colin Ackerman, will think of that as something of a triumph.
Is it a rare dot ball?
Haven't seen one of those for a long time. Ahmed is in again, and this one is clipped into the leg side, just for a single. So a good first over there from the England under-19. Just 6 off it, 95 without loss after 8. The required rate remains just a touch above 7. These two are batting very nicely as one of those orange planes flies across the sky in the distance. And we all know what that means. It means that somebody's managed to find their bags and get them on a plane. Well done to them.
They got through the queues.
Yeah. Ben Mike is back. He bowled the first over of the innings. It went for 12. But in light of overs from Davis and Naveen and Steele and Callum Parkinson, that was a pretty good over.
Yeah, it sort of, when you look back, it sort of looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, not bad, not bad at all. 8 off the bat, and then some extras as well. So the first over in total went for 8. I know he's got 0 for 8 off 1 over, but you've got to believe me. Here is Ben Mike, then he's bowling to Shan Masood. 70 off 29. Masood takes a step into the leg side, pushes it up towards Colin Ackerman at mid-off. And Ackerman, by the time he picks it up, knows that Masood is already in his ground, so he decides against shying at the stumps. Derbyshire moved to 96 without loss.
Yeah, there's a bit of a battle there between Mike and Masood as he was running past him. A little shoulder barge.
Bit of barging.
Little bit of barging.
I don't mind a bit of barging, really. I don't mind it. As long as it doesn't get out of hand. We did see Ben Sanderson warned by the umpires for showing, I imagine, we don't get to find out these things, unfortunately, but he showed a bit of dissent when a ball was wide. I think it was a no ball for height, a bouncer for height, and I thought he was very unlucky, to be fair. Ben Mike is in and bowls to Lewis Rees, who turns this one into the leg side. There might be 2 here, you know. He's run the first one quickly. I don't think there is, actually, as the fielder is off the boundary. Nice and quickly, it's Will Davis. He's all the way over there now. He's everywhere, Will.
He is everywhere.
Well, that's because he's a gun fielder.
That's it. You're bringing it back. You're saving it.
As I've always said, I've got an update. I've just spotted the fact that it's 30 seconds away from the next update. So, good spot by me. Useful spot. Anyway, in comes Ben Mike and bowls to Masood, who hits this violently into the leg side. The ball hits the ground and then skids into the fielder, who is Aaron Lilly. And Masood moves to 73 from 31 balls. Derbyshire to 99 without loss. Here we go. Again, it's going very well here, Pam. Yes, 99 without loss, Derbyshire. Having said that, Shan Masood is out. So the 99 for 1. Masood has gone for 73. It's been a remarkable innings from him from just 32 deliveries. He got to his half century off 21 balls with 7 fours and a 6. He's hit 4 more boundaries since then, but he has perished. Derbyshire losing their first wicket on 99, their best power play of the season by a long, long way, 76 without loss. They're chasing 182 to win this one. They're well on course. The current run rate is over 11. They need just over 7 and over from here on in, and there's full commentary continuing on the BBC Sport website and app. Well, that always happens, doesn't it? That
every time.
always happens. 99 for 1. And Shan Masood will be a little bit disappointed, but he was determined to just carry on batting. Aaron Lilly taking the catch off the bowling of Ben Mike. Was it Ben Mike? Yes, it is Ben Mike, isn't it? And that was a terrific innings from Shan Masood. Let's get his final figures up here. He batted for 32 balls, 73 he made, 32 balls, 11 fours and 1 6. And he has set this match up very nicely for Derbyshire, who at the moment are in the box seat, but they don't want to be losing too many wickets in quick succession.
No, and I think Masood did the right thing there. He sort of carried on with his intent, and I think that when he was going the way he was, that's what he needed to do.
In comes Ben Mike and bowls to Madsen. It's pushed back towards the bowler. And there is no run. 99 for 1. I was just about to pose the question about century stands and all sorts of things, so we'll put all those to bed. I was thinking he might be on course, and he probably was on course, one of the quickest centuries in white ball cricket for Derbyshire. Madsen's now off the mark, going up onto his toes, pushing it out into the offside. Rees will turn and comfortably get back for the second, and there is the 100 for Derbyshire. The 100 didn't come up until the 11th over for Leicestershire. They got to 102 at the end of 11 overs. Derbyshire 101 for 1 in the 9th. At the end of the 9th, so 101 for 1, a wicket in that, and just 6 runs off it as well, so a good comeback from Ben Mike. 2 overs, 1 for 14, his figures. But Derbyshire remain with their run rate of 11 and the requirement of 7.5 firmly in control. They just want to make sure that they don't make a mess of this one from here.
Yeah, they just want to sort of keep the runs ticking, and they're in a good place, and they just don't want to fall behind and face too many dot balls.
It's the second half century of the season for Shan Masood, both against Leicestershire, and the highest score by a Derbyshire batsman this season so far, 73. As Lewis Rees is on strike now as Ahmed bowls, and he's swept out into towards backward square leg, really. And they go through for a single. He didn't really get hold of that one, Lewis Rees, but now they've also got left-hand, right-hand.
Yeah, so it's going to add in a bit more running for the fielders as well.
Very irritating. They don't like it. Ben Mike is going out towards the cover boundary. There's a man out at long on, man out at long off, and 2 men on the leg side as well. Madsen likes a sweep. He doesn't mind a reverse either. That one is driven straight back to the bowler. I'm going reverse sweep next delivery. Putting it out there. He does love a reverse. Ahmed is in. There's the reverse, and he's got 4 runs. Well, if I knew it was coming.
There we go.
How come the Leicestershire fielders and the captain and the bowler didn't know it was coming? But it's one of Wayne Madsen's go-to shots in T20 cricket.
Yeah, I think if you can play it well like Madsen can, it's a good shot to sort of get off strike or sort of get that boundary that you want to get you going, and it was a good option. And well spotted.
Thanks very much indeed, thank you. 106 for 1. It's always nice to be appreciated. Madsen moves on to 6. Ahmed is in, and this is a cut shot, and there's no run here because it goes straight into the hands of Naveen ul Haq.
Doing a bit of gardening, Madsen, is there?
Just to calm him.
Little prodding.
Yeah, he does. He's quite a busy character out in the middle. This one is turned into the leg side by Madsen. Now they're thinking about 2 here. I think it will be just 1, though. It is just 1, as the ball is left for Callum Parkinson to do the fielding. Throws it in right next to the stumps, Lewis Hill.
Yeah, and I noticed they changed the field up as well for Madsen there. They sort of blocked off that reverse sweep area for him, but he just nudged it around the corner like he normally does.
Teams do. This is an attempted sweep by Lewis Rees. There's a half-hearted appeal from the bowler, and as a result, 6 runs off it. 107 for 1 at the end of the over, and the reverse sweep accounting for 4 of those runs. Madsen has 7, Rees has 21. 107 for 1 at halfway. At the same point, Leicestershire were 91 for 1. So not an awful lot of difference between the two sides, but it just feels like Derbyshire have got a bit of control here. And the fact that they're chasing, they know what they need now, don't they? They know that if they carry on at the rate that they're going, they'll win this one quite comfortably.
Yeah, they can control the rate as well, which is quite nice sometimes when you're chasing.
Callum Parkinson is in around the wicket to bowl to Wayne Mountain, who clips it into the leg side. There's a bit of a chase on Parkinson. Thought about chasing it initially, and now Rees is coming back for the second. Ben Mike throws it down the far end, and Madsen is out. He's been run out. It was a terrific throw from Ben Mike to the danger end, the far end. Lewis Rees was convinced he could get back for the second, and probably did, to the non-strikers end, but Wayne Madsen has gone. They will pick up one run for the first one that was run, but they won't get the second. Madsen goes for 8, I fancy, 108 for 1.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, because I think the 2 was definitely on, but Madsen sort of not run completely as fast as he can back to the other end, and he's sort of turned around and looked over his shoulder and then noticed the ball's being thrown to his end. So I think if he'd have just kept running the way he would normally run, I think he might have been alright.
Yes, now that's a bonus wicket really for Leicestershire, and one that Derbyshire will be very disappointed to have lost. He does end up with 8 from 7 deliveries, Wayne Madsen. Ben Mike with the throw, a good throw too, in fairness. And Derbyshire are 108 for 2 now. And you just look at Duckworth Lewis, and Duckworth Lewis remains very much in their favour, despite the fall of that wicket. Lewis deploys the new man. He wouldn't have had much time to juggle.
Yeah, I did spot him juggling a little bit.
Yeah, no, he likes it. He does like a juggle. There's Lear's deploy. They love it on TV when he juggles. He likes to get off the mark early as well, and he tried the reverse sweep there, and the bails are whipped off by Lewis Hill, but his back foot was firmly in the crease. I'm not sure whether the reverse first delivery is necessarily what I would do, but I'm not Lear's deploy.
It's a brave move, first ball.
He likes to get off the mark. He's waiting now, and he will get off the mark. Just taps the ball into the leg side for 1. That'll do. That'll do. No, nothing silly, boys. A good piece of fielding from Rian Ahmed coming in from the boundary. 109 for 2. It's just quieting the crowd down a little bit as well. 2 wickets in reasonably quick succession. Shouldn't have said on the radio that they were going well. It's all my fault. Parkinson halfway through his second over, 0 for 15. That's pushed down the ground by Lewis Rees for a single. It's fielded there by Will Davis. 110 for 2. Rees moves on to 22 from 23. Now it's important that Lewis Rees stays out there now as the set batsman.
Yeah, he just needs to keep sort of ticking along, doesn't he, and then sort of building that innings from there.
Lear's deploy will score if he's out there for any length of time. He's pulled that into the leg side. They're going to come back for 2 runs as Aaron Lilly does the fielding out at square leg. Deploy moves on to 3, 112 for 2. It's cooling down, isn't it? You noticed? Well, you will have done because you're wearing your shorts.
I have noticed, yeah.
You noticed before, didn't you? Yeah. My hands are getting cold now. This next one, bowled by Parkinson, just pushed up towards the edge of the 30-yard circle at mid-on. Davis comes racing in off the boundary and hurls the ball 2 bounces to Lewis Hill. Single is taken, 113 for 2 at the end of the over, so 6 runs off that one as well.
Yeah, it was a steady over for both
going up at
Parkinson
6s.
and the batters.
Parkinson's a good player. I do like him. He's bowled 2 overs for 19 now. It seems a little harsh, but he was bowling to Shan Masood earlier. Here is Scott Steele back. Bowled the 2nd over and bowled the 6th over, so 2 overs in the power play. And he's got 0 for 21, so that's a pretty decent effort. And a former Durham man who bowls now to Lear's deploy, who pushes this one up to long off for a single, and Derbyshire move to 114 for 2. They need 68 more runs to win this one in 9 overs. You would say. It's well within their compass. Oh, Lewis Rees gets away with one there. He tried to pull it into the leg side. It got an inside edge and went between his legs down to find leg for a single.
Yeah, it's a very interesting shot.
The nutmeg. That's Sibber's shot. Scott Steele's around the wicket again, and it's swept by Lear's deploy for a single out to Ben Mike. Not going to take any liberties with Mike's arm. Deploy moves to 6, 116 for 2. The lull has come slightly earlier than it did in the Leicestershire innings. This one is clipped into the leg side by Lewis Rees. They've run the first one quickly, but again, there is only one, as it's fielded by Naveen, who was teasing the batsman. Wouldn't let them know which end he was throwing the ball to initially. 117 for 2. Good over this from Steele so far. It's pushed out into the offside. The 5th delivery by Leicestershire. That's nicely placed, and there's a slide out there from Ahmed, who slides past the ball, and the batsman get back for a 2nd run. Deploy moves on to 8, 119 for 2.
A little bit louder.
Drinks kicking in. The drinks kicking in.
The hospitality are out on the balcony.
Yes, they're enjoying it up there, aren't they? This one is pushed up towards long on by Leicestershire for a single. 120 for 2 at the end of the over. 7 off that one from Scott Steele, who's bowled 3 overs for 28 now. Really good effort by him. Partnership just starting to build. 12 from 11 as they look to regroup a little bit. Derbyshire following the dismissals of Shan Masood with the score on 99. He made 73. And Wayne Madsen, who was run out. Good throw by Ben Mike. Had Wayne Madsen diving to try and get in, but he couldn't get in time. And he was run out for 8. And we're going to see Rian Ahmed again. He's bowled 2 overs for 12 so far, which is, again, a decent effort.
Yeah, when you think about how well we started off, I think he's done really well here. Ahmed has.
Derbyshire will be keen to just push the score along. The run rate is 10 now. The required rate is 8. The two are moving closer to each other with every single taken, and there's another one taken there by Leicestershire, who moves on to 10. 121 for 2. It brings Lewis Rees, who's been out there from the start but has only faced 25 deliveries in the first 12 overs. He waits now for Ahmed to bowl, and he just tries to whip it into the leg side, but there was a bit of spin there, a bit of turn.
He didn't quite get hold of it quite as well as he wanted to there, and it's just sort of gone nowhere.
Went absolutely, barely got off the cut strip. Ahmed is in again, bowls, and Rees clubs it into the leg side. There are 2 fielders out there. One of them is Parkinson in misfields. He won't be happy with that. Callum Parkinson prides himself on his fielding. Rees gets back for a 2nd, moves to 26, 123 for 2.
At least he kicked it this side of the rope, not over the rope.
Yes. Yeah.
That was what I'd take from that.
He was a long way from the rope. This one is pulled into the leg side. That has been perfectly placed by Lewis Rees, and it's a boundary in between the 2 fielders, Will Davis and Aaron Lilly, out at the sort of wide, long on, mid-wicket kind of area. And Rees moves up to 30 now from 28 deliveries, 127. Was quite annoyed with himself when he came off. Ahmed is in again around the wicket. That one is swept by Rees, but straight to the man at fine leg, although Leicestershire was on his bike pretty quickly there. And he raced down to the far end to complete the single, so Rees moves to 31, 128 for 2.
Yeah, I think Rees is playing the perfect sort of innings here as well.
Has to stay in there now, though, doesn't he? Has to stay in there. Next delivery is clipped into the leg side by Leicestershire. He moves on to 11. Derbyshire move on to 129 for 2, so 9 runs off that over, and they're just starting to motor. Sorry, I got caught up in the Barry White. I love a bit of Barry White, I've got to say. This is a really, really good song. Well done to the DJ.
Change of bowling at the city end of the 10th, Callum Parkinson.
We have news from Derby County, breaking news from Derby County. The American businessman Chris Kirchner has been given a 5 p.m. deadline on Friday to complete his deals by Derby County and bring them out of administration. Quantuma, the administrators, have taken the decision to engage with other interested parties as a contingency measure. 129 for 2 here, Derbyshire. In comes the first delivery of a new Callum Parkinson over, and he's got that very fine as Leicestershire, and it's racing away, and it's hitting the boundary rope now. And that's a good start to the over for Derbyshire and for Leicestershire. Callum Parkinson won't be best pleased, I'm sure. His previous over only went for 6 runs, but he's bowling from the City end for the first time this evening. Deploy moves under 15, 133 for 2.
Yeah, there was a lot of standing around, hands on hips going on there. Nobody could quite understand how that had got past everyone and gone for 4. But it's given us runs.
It has, yeah. Just bottom edge of the bat, I fancy. Parkinson in again to Deploy, who goes for the reverse and is bowled. And Parkinson celebrates, and there's complete silence inside the county ground, and that isn't really what Derbyshire wanted. Lewis Deploy goes for 15 off 12. Having just got a boundary, went a bit funky with the reverse sweep and was bowled, and Derbyshire 133 for 3 now.
Yeah, not sure that it was actually necessary to go for that shot again. But, I mean, Deploy plays his own way, doesn't he? And it's just not come off this time. So, what we could do with someone sticking in with Reese here, sort of keeping the tally going.
Brookguest is a good batsman to come in this situation because he's a busy batsman. He likes to run the 1s and the 2s, and I'm sure Lewis Reese will be telling him that's exactly what they need here. The current run rate remains at 10, and the required rate therefore is just under 7.5. But they don't want anything untoward to happen here in the closing stages of this T20. It is still very firmly in Derbyshire's hands, but we saw what happened late on for Leicestershire, who lost quick wickets and in successive overs went for just 7, 8 and 5 as they lost 3 wickets, including 2 and 2 balls to George Scrimshaw. 133 for 3. Brookguest is the new batsman. Parkinson around the wicket bowls to him, and he just guides that down to third man. They're going through for a quick single, and they get there. Hamish Rutherford does the fielding. The left arm throw to Lewis Hill looked slightly risky, but Reese was comfortably home by the time the throw came in. 134 for 3.
Yeah, Reese really got on his bite there. He wanted to get there, so he was going to get there no matter what.
Had to. Here's Parkinson with that long run-up of his, and he turned into the leg side by Lewis Reese. They've run the first one quickly. They're going to come back for the second. There was a slight hesitation from Guest, but the ball goes to the other end. Lewis Reese gets home comfortably enough. He moves to 33 from 30. It's 136 for 3. Twice Guest has hesitated now. He needs to stop doing that. He who hesitates is lost.
Gets run out.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. In comes Parkinson. Over the wicket, bowls to Lewis Reese, who just guides that up to long on for a single. It's quite the breeze coming in through the door at the back of the commentary box now. Reese moves on to 34, 137 for 3. Go and get me a big coat.
See, I've left mine in the car.
That's no use in the car, Laura. No use at all in the car. So Brookguest, one from his only ball faced so far. Around the wicket comes Parkinson. Guest dabs it out into the offside, and that is typical Brookguest. They dash through for a single. 138 for 3 at the end of that one. 9 off that over as well. So the run rate 9.9, still 10-ish. The required rate still under 7.5 and over. With 2 very good batsmen out in the middle. Alex Hughes, Matty McKinnon, Hayden Kerr, who can clearly bat, as we know. Then Sam Connors, Mark Watt and George Scrimshaw in any order you fancy.
Flip a coin.
Pretty much. I think Mark Watt comes in ahead of Connors for me. And I think Hayden Kerr could come in next, but might not, because Alex Hughes is a very fine batsman. They've got Matty McKinnon above him in the batting order on our team sheet, but we'll wait and see. Ben Mike then to bowl his third over, 1 for 14 from his first 2. Has bowled nicely. Jane, the scorer, scouring the players who've got pads and bats on over there. Matty McKinnon's definitely got his. They're a fine pair of binoculars as well, by the way. They're enormous. I must get myself some binoculars. Here's Ben Mike in and bowls to Brookguest, who turns it into the leg side. That might go all the way to the boundary, you know. There's a fielder running around, but he's not going to get there. He puts the dive in, and that is beautifully placed by Brookguest. Out to the leg side. Gets all the way to the boundary, despite the efforts of Will Davis. Guest moves on to 6, and Derbyshire to 142 for 3.
Yeah, he didn't look like he really tried to hit that to the boundary there. It looked like he was just trying to nudge it to get Reese back on strike, and he's just middled it straight towards the cinch. little panels over there.
He's put another man out there now as Ben Mike. A bit late. Horse has already bolted, and this one is defended by Brooke Guest. Good delivery from Mike, who fields off his own bowling. At the end of his follow-through, the other game in the north, as I mentioned earlier, started before us. Everybody starts before us here at Derby. And it involves Northamptonshire and Worcestershire, and Northamptonshire have won by 73 runs. They bowled Worcestershire out for 147 in the 17th over, having made 220 for 3 themselves. So a big win for Northants as Ben Mike bowls. That's driven beautifully out into the offside by Brooke Guest for just a single. He moves to 7, 143 for 3. So that will
Mm.
push Northamptonshire right up the northern group table.
It's been nice. It's been a bit interesting this year. The results have been all over the place.
They've moved up to second. They're on 11 points now from 8 games. This is Derbyshire's 7th game. They're on 4 points at the moment, but hopefully we'll be moving to 6, which would take them up to the brink of the top 4. Yorkshire 7 points, then Birmingham with 10, and Lancashire at the top of the table, unbeaten, the only unbeaten side on 13 points. Here is Ben Mike bowling to Lewis Rees, who just guides this out into the offside straight to a fielder. So there's no run. Good response from Ben Mike to being hit early in the over for a boundary. He's conceded just 1 run since then. Derbyshire 143 for 3. Chasing 182 to win. So 39 more runs required at just over 7 and over. Comes Mike again, bowls to Lewis Rees. That'll help. A bouncer which was helped around the corner down the leg side by Lewis Rees for a single. He moves on to 35. And Derbyshire to 144 for 3.
Yeah, the rate has dropped, I think, just below 10.
Yeah, down to 9.7 the actual run rate Derbyshire are going at. And down to 7.5 in the last 5 overs. But 38 required at 7.3 is it's not too onerous a task with 2 batsmen out there and more batting to come. Mike is in, and that one is driven beautifully out into the offside by Brooke Guest, who wants to go back for a second. It isn't there. Aaron Lilly did really well sliding around to take the ball. Guest moves on to 8, 145 for 3 at the end of 15 overs, so 5 overs to go, and they require 37 runs to win. It should be fairly comfortable from here. I did have my fingers crossed when I said that. There were 7 runs, yeah, off that over from Ben Mike, so a good over from him. And we're going to see Rian Ahmed, I think.
Yeah, it's his last over, this is.
Yeah. 3 overs for 21. Good effort from the young man. England under-19 international.
He's really impressed.
I like him. Yeah, no, I like him. Been given quite a new contract as well, wasn't it? I think it was a lengthier contract as well, which is absolutely right. And Ahmed is in and bowls to Brooke Guest, who drives straight to the man at mid-off, and there's no run. 145 for 3. Ahmed is in again, and Guest just dabs it out into the offside. Wants a quick single, not there. Ben Mike does the fielding. 2 dots to begin the over, and we all know what happens if there are 3 dots. It spells disaster for the batting side, apparently. I don't know who's done this.
Let's hope not.
Survey. Well, there aren't going to be 3 dots in a row because Brooke Guest has just clipped that one nicely into the leg side for a single. He moves to 9 from 9 balls, 146 for 3. 36 runs to win. The required rate has now gone up to 8.
Oh,
we don't want it to get.
We don't want it to get too high.
We don't want the required rate to overtake the actual rate. This one is an attempt to sweep it. Lewis Rees, there's half an appeal. Ball dribbles out into the offside. Dot ball. This has been a terrific over from Rian Ahmed. Not what the doctor ordered from a Derbyshire perspective. Still 36 to win. Those rates are getting closer. Rees pulls this ball into the leg side. The fielder initially came to get the catch, and he's misjudged it hopelessly out there in the distance, and the ball has gone through for a boundary. Naveen Ul-Haq, that was a horrible piece of fielding. He came in thinking he was going to get the catch. The ball bounced in front of him up, and he's parried it behind him for 4. And that probably deserves, I don't like that, but it probably deserves that. That's the one time it probably deserves it.
He just looked like he didn't commit to going for the catch. He just pulled out a little bit too late, and it's sort of sprung off the field as well.
Ahmed is in again, and that one is swept once more, but straight to the fielder, and Lewis Rees has perished. And Derbyshire are 150 for 4 now, and they've got to be careful here not to throw this one away. 39 off 36 deliveries. Lewis Rees caught about 20 yards in from the boundary. Didn't need to do that. Didn't need to do that.
No, I think it's gone a bit further behind square than expected.
And please show your appreciation for incoming batsmen.
Yeah, well, Derbyshire should win this game, but they are in a little bit of danger here because they've just lost Lewis Rees. He's been dismissed for 39 off 36 balls. They're 150 for 4. Remember, they're chasing 182. We've got 4 overs left. So 24 deliveries, they need 32 to win, but with a fresh batsman out in the middle to join Brooke Guest. I think it's Hayden Kerr, but I stand to be corrected because I can't quite see who it is from this distance. It's either, it's Alex Hughes. It's Alex Hughes who's come, of course it's Alex Hughes, who's come out to join Brooke Guest. These two hopefully will guide Derbyshire to victory, which will be only their 3rd of the season and much needed as well. But at the moment they're 150 for 4. There are 4 overs to go. They're chasing 182, and you can hear the climax of this match on the BBC Sport website and app. Of course it's Alex Hughes, you absolute fool. Here we go then. Naveen Ul-Haq. 2 overs for 28 so far. He's bowling to Brooke Guest. Derbyshire need 32 from 24 deliveries. And Naveen is in and bowls. That one is guided backward at square on the offside. There's going to be a shot at the stumps. If that had hit, there would have been all sorts of problems for Alex Hughes, but it missed, and they get through for the single, move to 151 for 4. I didn't like that very much.
That was a bit of a scarper there from Alex Hughes. Legs all over the place.
Yes. 31 off 23. I'm going to have to write this down now. I have to write it down when we get to a certain point. I just can't, I can't do maths. Well, I can, but not quickly. 31 runs to win. Naveen Ul-Haq just brings the man at extra cover in a bit. He looks like a substitute fielder to me. Naveen is in and bowls to Alex Hughes, who guides this down to 3rd man for a single. 1 is all they'll get. 30 from 22. So Hughes off the mark with the single. 152 for 4. Naveen Ul-Haq with his 73 variety. It is a substitute fielder with 49 on his back. So
I was trying to look to see if I could work out who it was.
It could be absolutely anybody. They've rather cleverly sneaked a gun fielder on into the extra cover position of Leicestershire. 152 for 4. Naveen is in and bowls. That one is pushed gently up towards the edge of the 30-yard circle. They've run 1. They don't come back for the second as Colin Ackerman comes racing in from the boundary to do the fielding. The 12th man applauds. Perhaps he's the cheerleader. 153 for 4. It's 29 of 21. They'll do well to throw it away from here, Derbyshire. It would also pretty much spell the end of their T20 campaign for this season, you fancy. Naveen is ready, a 30-yard run, because he's right on the edge of the circle when he starts his walk, and now he's broken into a trot. He's on his way in now to bowl to Alex Hughes, who struck on the pad, turned into the leg side off that pad, and they think about coming back for a second, and the reason the LBW appeal wasn't entertained is because Billy Taylor, the umpire, said it came off a bat because there was no signal, so it's 28 required off 20 now. They need a couple of boundaries from somewhere, and that's it really, because there are singles out there.
Yeah, and it'll just sort of settle them down as well. I think it'll make it look a lot more approachable than keep going at 2s.
There is Naveen once again. Good over from him so far. 4 singles. That one is smashed out backward of square on the offside. Guest comes back for the second, gets back for the second comfortably, and that's pretty much what Derbyshire need. 26 from 19 now.
I like to keep it interesting.
Don't they just? They
Derbyshire?
do. They never make it simple. They never make it simple. 19 deliveries left, 26 runs required by Derbyshire for victory. A tie is really no good to them either. Naveen on his way in to bowl to Brooke Guest. Oh, gets a bottom edge on that when it bounces into the leg side. He gets away with it, really. He's pinched the strike as well. 25 to win off the last 3 overs then. Guest has 14, Hughes has 2. 157 for 4, chasing 182. Where's your money, Lauren?
I'm going to back Derbyshire. I think a couple of boundaries. They keep trying to run the way they are as well. Leicestershire are going to have to keep bowling good lines to try and restrict them, I think, at this point.
So that last over went for 7 runs only, 157 for 4 at the same stage after 17 overs, 150 for 4, Leicestershire. They had a couple of big overs at the end, let's not forget, so Derbyshire can't rest on their laurels here. Callum Parkinson is back.
This is his last over as well.
Naveen will bowl 1 of the remaining 2 after this one. 18 balls to go. That's turned into the leg side nicely by Brooke Guest. They've run 1. They're going to come back for the second as well. Hughes might have to be quick here. Might have to get the dive out. Doesn't. The ball skates away and they might think about an overthrow, but they don't. They do pick up 2 though, and it's 23 off 17 now.
Yeah, it was looking a bit tight there for a minute, but Hughes is quick.
He is quick, but I did think he was in trouble. Turned out that he wasn't. 23 required to win. Parkinson around the wicket bowls. That one is turned into the leg side nicely by Brooke Guest. They're going to come back for 2 again. Hughes is determined to get back for 2, and that's excellent running again. There was a shot at the stumps again. It didn't miss by much. Aaron Lilly is the man who sent in the throw. 21 from 16 now. It's getting closer and closer for Derbyshire.
I think Lily's coming closer and closer for off the boundary as well.
Lift one over his head next. Yeah. That would really hack him off, wouldn't it? Because he's a man who shows his emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Lilly. The 2 batsmen very cleverly having a conversation there, because I think they'll be exhausted having taken a couple of 2s off the first 2 balls of the over.
Yeah, get your breath back.
Yeah. Breath back, take your time. Cut off is 9:47, so they're going to be fine on that. Our Leicestershire. Derbyshire need 21 from 16 deliveries for their 3rd win of the season. Parkinson around the wicket bowls, and that's pushed out into the offside by Brooke Guest. There won't be a shot at the stumps this time as the ball is fielded in the offside by Rishi Patel. They get through for a single. Guest moves on to 19, 20 off 15 balls. There's got to be a boundary out there somewhere.
Parkinson was doing a very good teapot again there.
Was he? Not happy?
Was not very impressed.
It's been a good over from him so far. Well, my computer has ground to a halt. 162 for 4. In comes Parkinson again around the wicket. Oh, and it strikes the pad of Alex Hughes. Now he's got to get back. If that one hits, he's gone. He isn't. The ball misses the stumps, but the fielder doesn't. The fielder has absolutely destroyed the stumps. Alex Hughes is on his stomach, having dived to get back in. That was a bit of a mess all round.
I just love how the keeper, Hill, is just there and just like, what are you doing? Hands on hips, just looking at the stumps all over the floor.
Excellent work, but no single, so a dot ball. For some reason, this just stopped working. Why has it stopped working? I have no idea. We'll find out. 162 for 4 then. 20 to win. 14 deliveries in which to get them. Parkinson around the wicket. Oh, the reverse sweep. That's gone a long way. Has it gone all the way for 6? It has. Huge, huge shot from Alex Hughes. Gets a maximum down towards what would have been 3rd man had he been standing in his correct stance, but actually turns out to be a fine leg. Well, that's a terrific shot from Alex Hughes. That's cheered me up no end.
It looked like it came off like a top edge. That's what it looked like, but then it just kept going.
14 off 13 now. That's a bit better. In comes Parkinson. No silly things here from Alex Hughes, who just clips it up towards the edge of the 30-yard circle at mid-on. They go through for a single. 2 overs to go. 13 runs required. Derbyshire very firmly in charge of this one now at 169 for 4. 12 runs off the 18th over. Big over. And a big shot from Alex Hughes. Why did we need that? bit of ABBA as well.
You can't beat a bit of ABBA.
Well, I'm not sure, but the ABBA Experience on at Chesterfield tomorrow night, I think, at Queen's Park.
They've been building the stage from what I've seen.
So they'll be dancing away in Chesterfield. The dancing in the streets of Chesterfield tomorrow evening. We'll be there on Sunday, and hopefully all that ABBA nonsense will have been cleared up by then. Naveen Ul-Haq. Sorry, Mr. Chief Executive. I know it's a moneymaker, and I know you have to do it, but really,
I'm going to say it's a good choice. I quite like ABBA.
Okay.
Agree to disagree.
Well, I think we'll have to. Here's Naveen in and bowls to Alex Hughes, who clips this into the leg side. There's 2 runs here, no question about it. The ball has barely got to the edge of the 30-yard circle. They're back for the second comfortably, and they might come back for a third from an overthrow because it wasn't backed up properly, and that is terrific running from Derbyshire because they now need 10 off 11. Brilliant work in the first place to get the 2. The shy at the stumps from Colin Ackerman wasn't backed up properly. They come back for a third. Hughes moves on to 12 from 6 balls. Derbyshire 172 for 4.
Oh, and he's missed the throw around the field as well.
Oh, no, that's a bit village. From Leicestershire, Richard Ray, I noticed to our left, has got a very resigned look on his face. He doesn't look a happy man. It's been one of those games. We thought 180 was about par, and so it has proved, with 10 runs required from 11 deliveries, but it's now down below a run a ball. So the field has pretty much come in, and in goes Naveen, and that one is clubbed down the ground by Brooke Guest for 4 runs over the head of the man, close-ish in at mid-on. And Derbyshire, well, they're moving towards victory here. 6 from the final 10 deliveries is what they require, and they would like to do it in this over if they possibly can. 176 for 4, 6 to win.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy there. He was sort of questioning why the field's inside the ring there.
Well, they've sort of got to cut off the singles, haven't they? Because they need less than a run a ball. It went over Ackerman's head. And Naveen isn't looking at any of his teammates. Didn't look at Ackerman, who's his captain. He's on his way in now. 6 required from 10. Brooke Guest on strike. And Guest thrashes that one out into the deep. It's a 1 bounce and fielded by Will Davis. They will come back for a second, so they need 4 from the last 9 balls, and the chances are they'll finish it off in this over now, which is exactly the right thing to do. Finish it off in the penultimate over. Don't leave it to the last over when things can get a bit jittery.
It adds a bit of extra pressure leaving it to the last over, so definitely get it out of the way.
This over so far has gone for 9 runs. In comes Naveen again, bowling to Guest, who crashes it down the ground, and that's it. Derbyshire win. Terrific cameo from Brooke Guest. He finishes on 29 not out. Alex Hughes on 12, and Derbyshire win with 8 balls to spare. A fairly comfortable victory in the end, where they lost a couple of wickets quickly, really relatively quickly, in Leicester and Lewis Rees. It looked like he might be tricky. But in the end, Brooke Guest, who looks like Derbyshire have found a finisher, has done really nicely. 29 off 19 deliveries in the end. Alex Hughes, 12 off 6. And Derbyshire win by 6 wickets with 8 balls to spare, Lauren. That's a good victory and a vital victory.
Yeah, they really needed to get a win out there today, and they've, batting-wise, Masood got them off to a flyer, and they just carried it on quite nicely. There was a little bit where we thought, oh, maybe we're going a little bit too slow, but no, Guest has come in, and I know we spoke first game of the season, of the T20 season, said Guest might be that finisher, and he's shown it again here again.
Yeah. He got 54, didn't he, against Birmingham in that, and almost got Derbyshire over the line. Well, tonight he's managed to get them over the line, which will be a huge confidence boost to Derbyshire ahead of the game at Worcester tomorrow against Worcestershire down at New Road. Worcestershire have lost quite handily this evening against Northamptonshire, and it's going to be fascinating. Yes, my cue was down, Gareth. Are you trying to talk to me? I think we might. I'm not sure if we're going to. I tell you what, we'll sign off on the website and the stream. Thank you very much for your company this evening. 5:30 start tomorrow. Don't forget, down at New Road. We'll be there again to see if Derbyshire can make it 2 wins in 2 matches in 2 days and get themselves to 4 and 4 at the end of their first 8 matches of the T20 Blast. Hopefully they can, and if they do, they'll put themselves in a very handy position for the second half of the campaign. As it is, I'm just waiting for this table to update. It's not updating, but we will see you tomorrow online and on a stream somewhere.